stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wants in fire, but my God is gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of coming sin. I come to wake the sleeping, the church to break the fate. A mortal slow illusions, no hollow into pain. He's here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Misled, thinking truth from the wreckage, raising dawn from the dead. Every word is a weapon, sharpened and clear, exposing every shadow we pretend not to fear. And the overlord rises with the suffering command. A beast of judgment, the mortal chemist dead. On his growl rings through the silence of the night. The loyal understand, tripping keeps the balance right. I'm here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. I'm making the chaos of food to consume the world cracks open, ushering down. So with the command, don't deploy a core. If you know what's good, feed more the overload.
All right, welcome back to the party, everybody. This is Morty, and I am your host, Lutch, aka TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of common sense. Everybody hit that like and subscribe. You know I would do it for you, and let's party. Welcome back. I am very interested to see what you guys have to say tonight. We've seen a lot with Nick Fuentes over the past week specifically, but really the past couple of weeks, and he's just been everywhere. And I don't know how much we've all, seen what the reactions and everything is. And I thought it specifically Piers Morgan had an interesting conversation with them. It was kind of, contentious. But then on the next show, he brought on a bunch of people to be like, hey, here's what you did wrong. And I thought that was pretty good. So let's dive in. I don't know how much of the Fuentes thing with Piers, the original video you guys saw. So we're going to skip around a little bit, and then we got some goodies. Welcome. As always, shout out to Blue Vedette. Welcome to the party. This is, we talk about numbers. There's more white people than there are Asian people or black people or Indian people. We got Josie in the building. Said Team Nick. All right, let's do it. As always, guys, if you cannot hear the video, please do let me know.
You've also said you don't want to live near black people. Let's take a listen to this clip. I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. You know, I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry. It's racial for me. And call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a fuck.
I mean, it couldn't be clearer, really, unless you want to say that's another of your jokes. But you're basically saying, yeah, I'm a racist, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
You're fine with saying you're a racist?
Totally. I think everybody's racist. I think everybody, if we're being honest, is racist. I think everybody, the only people that aren't racist or pretend not to be are white people to their detriment.
Yep.
Everybody else.
I mean, I don't necessarily know if I agree that all people are racist, but I do think we all see stereotypes and patterns and stuff, but it's definitely that white liberal woman mentality. Shout out to equality and deference because vagina over on Rumble. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared. My goodness, thank you so very, very much. You guys know how much that stuff really, really does help the stream, and it doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling YouTube, X, or Rumble that you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. Thank you so very, very much. Welcome to the party.
Is racist.
But earlier in the interview, you got aggrieved at the idea that your father was a racist. You wanted to make emphatically
because
sure
my father's.
He's not.
Because my father doesn't share my same views on that.
So he's the exception to everyone's a racist.
Well, everybody's a little bit racist. You're right. So maybe everybody. The difference is you're attacking my father. You know, he can get fired from his job.
I'm not attacking your father.
You are.
No, I'm not. I don't know your father. And to be clear, I have no knowledge about him at all.
Well, then let's leave him out of it. Let's leave him out of it if you don't know him.
Hang on, Nick. You put that story into the public domain on your show. I'm simply reminding you of what you told everybody, millions of people, about your father. If you now want to retract it, fine. If you want to say it was a joke, which is what your position was earlier, fine. But I'm allowed to put to you things you've said publicly. That's not unfair. That's not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out
You know
there.
what you're doing.
So in case you are not familiar with exactly what he's talking about, Nick's told the story about when they were younger, they didn't want to go to Applebee's because that's black people fare. And so now that's what Piers is talking about.
Not me targeting your father. You put that story about him out
You know
there.
what you're doing. You know what you're doing.
I'm asking you about a pretty shocking anecdote, which to me looked like you were saying your father made decisions about where you as a family would eat based on skin color of people who worked at these places. If you say, or use them, if you say that is not what you meant, that's fine. You can respond any way you like. But the idea I can't ask you about it without you saying I'm attacking your father is ridiculous.
Well, you are.
Let's shout out to Sea Heights. Welcome to the party. Said, go back to the Caucasus Mountains. I don't think this is what you think it is, but either way, welcome. We also got HR Death Poet in the building. Very good to see you. Equality said, using a simplistic definition of racist, every group is biologically programmed to prefer their group, their tribe. If that's the definition, we are all racist. Bingo. And that's the problem, is that now that's what racist means, but it used to mean, racial bigotry. And it just got watered down so much that it just means like you notice patterns. We got Craig in the building. Welcome. Let's dive right back in.
And you know what you're doing. And there's a political culture in America where if you have the wrong views, you get fired from your job. And my father has a job. And if you go on here and say, you charge him with racism or something, and I'm put in a position where I don't look like I'm sticking to my guns if I don't say my father's a racist, you're putting him in jeopardy, and he's not here to defend himself or explain his views. And it's very low, and I think you know exactly what you're doing, and people can see what you're doing. I'll defend my views.
Yeah. And so what we're going to be doing, I'm going to hop around of the original interview, and then what I really want to get into is specifically what Crowder said to him, but also what Milo said to him. So let's keep going.
And I think that, so let's leave him out of it. Let's just not talk about my father because my father isn't here. I'm here.
Okay, well, then do you accept that you shouldn't talk?
Okay,
listen, that's fine. But then do you accept you shouldn't talk about your father on your show? And you shouldn't tell...
Absolutely not. Absolutely
not.
So
it's fine for you to put a story out there which would make most people who listened to that story or watched it at the time on your show conclude that he was racist. It's fine for you to do that. But if I then ask you about it, I'm the one who's being unfair and I've crossed a line. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you're being malicious.
Yeah, there's context there. So unless you're going to let him tell the whole story, whether I like it or not, he is absolutely right. Shout out to Davey. Davey. Welcome. Just chilling. Welcome to the party.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Listen, people are watching this live. They can draw.
So, okay, that was one clip there. Again, I'm showing these because they're going to be relevant to the discussion that we are having. So that was one clip there. And then we had the anti-Semitism.
Answered emphatically that you don't anti-Semitism. Okay, back with Nick Fuentes. Let's just turn to anti-Semitism. In your interview with Stephen Crowder last week, you answered emphatically that you don't hate all Jews. Is that correct? That's your position?
What?
Yes.
Okay. So I want to play you this clip.
Well,
And I want to remind you guys that as somebody who is, like more post-liberal and libertarian than like hardcore Republican or anything like that, that I did not even know that was Nick's position. I understood what he was saying to be all Jews. The Jews! Meaning every single one of them. And so that's why when we talk about it and we bring up Barry the dentist, the Jewish dentist from New York, what does he have to do with any of this? Okay, now I understand that the answer is nothing, but you did not do a very good job of helping me understand that. And so I'll come back to that a lot because I do think Nick has a lot of good things to say, but I worry that he doesn't express them in the best way for people to be able to. It's just not palatable.
Any Jews. Let me just amend that. I don't hate any Jews.
Okay. Let's play this clip.
The reason I've had it is because my opposition to world Jewry and Israel is rooted in absolute, uncontestable fact. We have the truth on our side. That's why we're winning. Because we are telling the truth about the historical antagonism between Jews and Europeans, between Jews and Christians. The theological, historical, racial, cultural, and political antagonisms between organized Jewry and the Christians, organized Jewry and Europeans.
I still don't even know what organized Jewry is, but Akali said you really thought it was all Jews? Yeah. When you say the Jews, what else am I supposed to think? That's my point, is that when it comes to the rhetoric, I compare Nick as well as Andrew Wilson from The Crucible. It doesn't seem like they necessarily want to spread their ideas as much as they want to get money for their ideas. Play.
And the reason that we are winning that argument is because it's real. It's true. I can prove it. I can show you. I can name the names. I can show you the paper trail, the money. That is why we're winning. That is why all of this is raising the consciousness.
When you say you have this opposition to world Jewry, I mean, it's one thing to criticize, for example, the Israeli government over what it's been doing in Gaza. I've done that myself. When you talk about world Jewry, I presume you're talking about the 15 million Jews in the world, and you are opposed to them. How does that square with your position that you don't hate any Jews?
Well, do you take issue with my use of the term world Jewry?
Well, what do you mean by that?
See, Piers doesn't know.
Or do you take issue with it? Do you have a problem with that?
Clarify what you mean by it.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. The gaslighting's crazy because I use that expression on my show all the time. I say organized Jewry, world Jewry.
Okay, but that's specifically my point, is that we don't know that. We, as people who don't watch your show, we don't know that. And so that's totally fair to have, inside lingo that you use with your, on your show. And like, we got disciples here, we got the dilly dilly, we got the projection whistle, we got all that stuff that people wouldn't understand unless they've been here before. But that's still your responsibility of what people understand that you're saying, especially when you're being given, I'm going to be over here. When you're being given the opportunity to explain it, why, I don't understand why he doesn't just say, well, I mean this.
And do you know that for like 30 years, the World Jewish Congress has an annual keynote called the State of World Jewry? Barry Weiss has given it. You can look it up. It's on YouTube. She gives the State of World Jewry address.
But Nick, what do you mean by it?
I mean, you have to talk about, there's a concept of Jewish peoplehood. It's the sense that they are part of a common nationality, a common tribe, a common people, and where they reside.
Shout out to Matt. Welcome. Said I don't watch Fuentes, but he comes across as not nice. Yeah, I agree. Now, do I think that he's wrong about all things? No. Do I think he's right about a lot of things? Yes. It's just the way I will keep coming back to this. I think he is stuck in his 18-year-old brain. He blew up out of nowhere when he was 18, and he's just been constantly going, that he's not really had the time to mature in the ways that he needs to if he's going to lead a political movement. Welcome to the party.
Israel, the United States, or Europe, or elsewhere.
So, yeah, again, just skipping through to get some of the clips that are relevant. So let's move to 59, 23, 59, 23.
Several 100,000 have been killed. And I want to play you this clip.
People talk about, well, what about the gas chambers? Well, to the extent that that's real, I find that hard to believe, but to the extent that's real, there have been atrocities committed and genocides committed in all times and all places. Let's acknowledge why Hitler casts the long shadow, because that confers a political benefit upon Jews. That's why.
It doesn't really sound correct to me. Wait a second. It takes 1 hour to cook a batch of cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right?
Even if you think that the downplaying the Holocaust is the most awful thing you could do. Come on, man. This is funny. What are we talking about?
Cookies, and you have 15 ovens, probably in 4 different kitchens, right? Doing 24 hours a day, every day for 5 years. How long would it take you to make 6 million? I don't know. It certainly wouldn't be 5 years, right? The math doesn't seem to add up there.
You think that's funny?
Again, I think it's funny. I think the Holocaust was very, very bad and very likely had the full amount of the 6 million Jews, but that's still funny. That's still funny. Shout out to King Nirvana. Welcome to the party. Thank you so very, very much. Always a pleasure to see you. Am I the bozo or are they the bozos? Which bozos are you asking about? We got Liberty Plus TV. Welcome to the party, said Nick. Wipe the floor with Piers. This might be my favorite interaction all year. Did you? I don't know if you saw Piers Morgan and Crowder the next day, or I think it might have been the day after. But that, I think, is the best interaction. Not because it's so funny and it's so based and but it's so spot on. It's so spot on. And so I'm just jumping through these clips so that we can get there to fully understand what Crowder is saying. Diving back in.
Add up there.
You think that's funny?
It's funny. It's amusing what you're doing because, that one was a joke. But
if you're saying that, you know exactly who it is.
You want to talk seriously about the Holocaust?
I do, actually. I do, because I just find it extraordinary that you would think the Holocaust could ever be something that we could joke about.
Why, too soon?
I don't care who you are. That's fucking hilarious. I don't like Nick, but we got to call it like it is. That is a good joke.
Because I just find it extraordinary that you would think the Holocaust could ever be something that we could joke about.
Why, too soon? Is it too soon to make jokes?
How many?
Oh, and silence. All right, I'll jump ahead a little bit. Again, guys, just I'm sure most of you have seen most of this, so I just want to give some context to the stuff that we are about to.
I want to play you two clips. One is where you talk about Adolf Hitler.
2 clips.
Hitler was a pedophile and kind of a pagan. It's like, well, he was also really fucking cool. So, time to grow up. We're not.
This is what I mean, though. If I don't remember this part of the Piers interaction, but if this is something, because this looks like an older video, and if he's 18 or 19 at the time, whatever. But if this is more recent, then it's like, okay, bro, like it's not cool. Like, you may have political things that you see, you might think they look nice, but come on, bro, you know what you're doing.
Not children anymore. Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go.
That's a hard projection, because yes, sir, you are a little child. At least in your mind. I agree. It's just why? Just to be edgy? Oh, I'm the guy that said the thing. I'm like, come on, bro.
Am I right? Am I right, boys? Am I right? Let's go. He was also really fucking cool.
You regret saying that?
saying a fact? No, that's absolutely true.
You think Hitler was very fucking cool?
Yes.
And see, these are the point of what I'm about to show you guys if you haven't seen it. When everybody's like, Piers, you dropped the ball here. Is that he's trying to take this boomer legacy media, like,
How dare you?
finger wagging, pearl clutching thing. And the entire thing about Nick is I don't give a shit. I'm not playing that game anymore. Definitely a Meme Wars product. Shout out to Chuck E. Cheese. Welcome. Even though you... well, find me that one. Welcome to the party. Again, just going through a couple of clips from this original interview, and then we've got some other stuff relevant to what went on here.
I do.
One of them,
and I'm tired of pretending he's not.
Well,
to be honest,
this is the problem, you see. It's a bit like when you just say, I'm a racist. You're a racist who thinks Hitler's cool, but you're not anti-Semitic. If you're a Jewish person watching this...
And so, again, that's fine. If that's your position, don't expect me. I'm now getting into my boomer-minded years. I just turned 36, so I'm getting up there in terms of the world is the way that I understand it. And the way that I understand liking H-Man and saying stuff like this is not clearly aligned with what Nick actually means. And yet, here he is, the opportunity, even though Piers is doing a bad job, he has the opportunity to clear things up, and he's choosing not to. I don't know what else to do. Chuck E. Cheese said, my opinion is you can't actually have a discussion with somebody until they have at least temporarily fixed positions. Fair, yeah. Oh, wait, did I see... sorry, I see it completely differently. I see Piers Morgan actually trying to hold Nick to positions where every other interview has just let him have flexible positions on anything. Okay, yeah, I definitely agree with that. I definitely agree that this has been... between Tucker was the most useful in terms of understanding who Nick Fuentes is if you're not already a fan of Nick Fuentes. This was second. And so I think it's necessary, but again, we're about to jump into how Piers just could have done he could have done exactly this a little bit better.
Thinks Hitler's cool, but you're not anti-Semitic. If you're a Jewish person watching this, what are they thinking? I'll tell you what they're thinking, because I've got a friend of mine called Danny Finkelstein, who, when he heard I was interviewing you, he's a Times journalist in the UK, very eminent journalist here, and author, who wrote a book about his own family's experiences at the hands of Hitler and Stalin, because you also told Tucker Carlson that you admire Stalin. But let's just take what Danny said here.
Hi Piers, it's Danny Finkelstein here. As you're interviewing Nick Fuentes, you might try suggesting to him that he reads my book, Hitler, Stalin, Mum and Dad. It's called Two Roads Home in the United States. Since he says he's on Team Hitler, you might like to ask him about the fact that Hitler arrested my mum.
Yeah, blah, 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 blah. We had that one. 116. Oh, we're going here?
There is a...
Well, tell me about the Schindler's List.
I'll tell you about it.
Wait,
Schindler's List. Let's just be honest. The propaganda is over the top. We have been brought in America.
What about
and
the Schindler's
everywhere.
List? Tell me about the Schindler's List. Well, tell me about the Schindler's List.
I'll tell you about it. We have been browbeaten as a people, as Americans, as Westerners, for our entire lives. And you know what this has done? It has taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own...
Excess testosterone? I mean, he's definitely based in a lot of areas, but testosterone is not really where I would say is one of his strengths. Shout out to Rotten Dead. Welcome. Said Nick is a gay fed. Always a possibility. I believe it was the Daily Mail had a piece over 85% of Nick's views are from Pakistan. Shifty, shady.
It's taken away any sense of pride, any sense of love for our own civilization. We have been made the villain in our own story. We have been made because, well, let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster.
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. Like, there's this is kind of what I mean. You know, Liberty's talking about, well, he's not going to be on CNN. Who the fuck watches CNN? Who the fuck? What are you talking about? This is such a straw man of the position that I am talking about. I'm talking about the fact that just like Matt Matt and I have not really spent a lot of time watching Nick Fuentes because the clips that we've seen have been so out there that it's like, I don't even know. And that's fair if you want to be that guy. But then don't act like you want to change America. You just want to be the guy. Go ahead. Be the guy. But you're not changing shit about America, but you're acting like you are. In order to... radical ideas are always radical when they begin. Changing society is always a radical act. You have to meet people where they are. And he is explicitly trying not to. And I don't know, again, if that is because he just wants to be the guy. Because if it becomes more mainstream, then there's going to be a lot more Nick Fuenteses that pop up. And, we're not going to see... we're not going to see his light brightness, his light shine as bright. You know what I mean? So is it more about, hey, I want to be the guy, Nick Fuentes, who is the Groyper king? Or does he actually want a world where Jewish influence and all these other things that he talks about are a reality? Can't have both. Shout out to Daniel. Welcome to the party. Yeah, I am. You cannot convince me. You cannot convince me that a bunch of people didn't wait. They were watching and waiting to see when I hit 5K. And they're like, unsubscribe. I usually don't get that much movement in subscribers. I'll get a few here, lose a few there, whatever. People unsubscribe, people check it out. They're here for a while, whatever. But I lost 15 subscribers since I hit exactly at that moment. It's definitely somebody. It's an app. Ron Dad said, ask yourself why Nick Fuentes wasn't arrested on J6, but the 65-year-old grandmothers were. A left-wing psyop. A lot of people say that. And yeah, definitely, Quali said, definitely no testosterone. That's not what he's known for.
But let's just be clear. It doesn't begin and end with Hitler is a monster. This has been the political narrative, which is why we have thrown open the borders. This is a political narrative, which is why we can't be a conservative society as a whole anymore, why we can't be proud of Europeans, why we can't be proud of being Christian, because they've told us if you're too white and too proud and too Christian, it's going to lead to a Holocaust. And so my generation, our entire lives.
Honestly,
it's true. And that's why people like me. That's why I'm popular, because this is bullshit.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me mom and me dad.
No, listen. What you just said is a crock of shit. And you know
true. It's called the...
And again, Piers, you need to understand here. That you are making this more contentious than it needs to be. You can think that he has abhorrent ideas, but have him explain them. Stop attacking and try to understand. Stop trying to win the conversation and just stop trying to win an argument and just have the conversation. I want to try something real quick. Let's try this. Let's try cameras. No, not that. Give me 1 second here. We need media slot. And I'd be up there. Let's put it at the top, maybe? Let's see. What does that look like? Oh, I don't want to save a new layout. God damn it. Give me 1 second. Bird media. Hold on. Okay, what does this look? Wait, where the fuck is the fuck? Wow. No, not that. This. Nah. All right. Sorry, I just wanted to see, because they changed the things with the vertical. I had everything set up the way that I liked it, and now they don't let you change it. But all right, diving back in here.
Honestly,
yeah, it's a crock. We don't want to hear any more about me mom and me dad.
No, listen. What you just said is a crock of shit. And you know
true.
It.
It's called the open society.
In your gut, you know it is. You weaponize this stuff. You weaponize this stuff for money, but you know when you say something like what you just said.
I'm banned from banking and credit cards. You know who you're talking to? I do it for money. And by the way, how much money you make? Your company's worth $100 million. Your company's worth $100 million. I was banned from Bank of America. I'm banned from processing credit cards.
And you shouldn't have been.
But I am. So don't tell me I'm doing it for money.
Well, ask me my opinion about that. I'll tell you shouldn't have been. Right?
And so my criticism, Matt, of Piers here is that if he had been a little bit more amenable, like you were saying that other people have been too flexible, but I think he was too rigid. And that is the allure of Nick to a lot of people, is that he isn't too straight-laced, but, he shows up in a tie, he knows his shit, and Piers is just not getting it. He's not getting it.
Don't agree with that. What happened to
Then
you?
don't say I'm doing it for money, because you know that full well, and you say it's a
How
grift.
much money? How much
if I
money
wanted
are
to
you?
be a grifter, I'd be like you.
How
and
much
I would
money
go
are,
and say,
how much money are you making?
I'm making a lot of money now.
Yeah.
Now that I'm the #1 live streamer in America, because people agree with me more than they agree with you. We're tired of hearing about slavery and the Holocaust and Jim Crow. We're done hearing about that. You guys
I'm
overplayed
not
your
done
hand.
hearing about that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, your generation.
And listen, and exactly. He said it right there. Nick is telling you, the people like me, people who are in my cohort, we're done with this over moralizing, and especially as a tactic, like the woke do, to prevent the actual discussion. He's right about that. Kids don't give a fuck anymore. It doesn't matter if you still do. You're the old guy. He's the new guy. Quality of effort said just trying to win a conversation is called pulling an Andrew Wilson. Dilly to that. Welcome, Conflict Monitor. I agree. I think he's fucking hilarious. But the way that he presents himself is not very palatable to normal people. And that is really where the question comes. Does he want to make money and get clout, or does he actually want to make these kinds of changes in America? I don't know. So we got a couple. All right, let's let this run.
Generation's on the way out, and Generation Z is coming up, and we're finished with that. We're ready to take our country back.
I've got three
we're not
sons.
listening
I've
to
got
crying
three
minorities
sons.
anymore.
I've got 3 sons, and they don't share your views about slavery and about the Holocaust. They can have decency and compassion and humanity about some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more.
And so if I'm Nick Fuentes or a Nick Fuentes fan, am I not responding to Piers there saying, well, that's because they don't know the truth? Regardless of what is or is not true. That is the mentality that Nick would have. Well, your sons don't think like me because they don't know the facts that I know. That's what I'm trying to get. I'm trying to, thread that needle. It's tough.
They can do that, and they can also have.
Wait, yeah. He said it right back.
Have decency and compassion and
So
humanity
his
about
sons?
some of the worst things that have happened in the last 150 years or more. They
Sound like girls.
can do that, and they can also have concerned views about issues like immigration and other issues. The two things are not mutually incompatible.
I think
you
I
can
missed
have
it.
different views about.
I missed it. But he was like, Nico said, we don't care about that anymore. And Pierce said, well, we do. I was like, okay, well, then go care about that somewhere else because they don't care. King Nirvana said, you remember when Wilson said he didn't consider sex with a condom sex? Just jerking with the... I do not remember that. But interesting take. Conflict Monitor said a lot of it is a 10-year indoctrination in performative caring. People are conditioned to parrot this bollocks. Indeed. Do we want to jump ahead? We're at 118. We wanted to go to 122.
Really, you've talked about this. You're talking about.
Are we done talking about white genocide?
Well,
and
I'm coming to the same part because you seem very resistant to the idea of marriage. You've never got married. You've talked very scathingly about henpecked husbands. So take a look.
Shout out to Feline Gaming. Welcome to the party. Said America first. Indeed. With the capitals. There we go. All caps. America first. Welcome to the party.
Married. You've talked very scathingly about henpecked husbands. Just take a look.
That's true. Guys get to a certain age and they're like, you know what? Women suck. Like they're talking too much. You're not hot anymore. Like
Definitely.
You're fat. You're chubby. You're not as hot as you think you are. You fucking talk too much.
I need all of you Groyper people to give me my credit that for years I've been talking about how low-rise jeans will never come back because women are just too fucking fat. Oh man, if you were in high school in the early 2000s, Oh man, the little thong popping up from the top of the jeans. Now, of course, you were in high school as well, so don't make it weird. And then, you sit behind the girl in class, and you see the little whale tail coming out. That was sexy. Not these diaper-looking things where you got half the cheeks falling out the back. Unless you really got the body for it, then you ain't got the body for it. But, the whale tail. Exactly. But never again. Never again. I mean, hey, maybe if, Nick gets a little bit more popular, that might happen. I don't know if I even necessarily want that, but, yeah, it's a huge burden to take on a woman at any level, even a woman with money. Sometimes it's even worse when they got money because I don't need you for shit. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, shout out to you. It's especially when they don't have any shape. It literally looks like you're wearing a diaper. All right, we got to take a side quest for this. This might be a little bit pervy, but that's a fact. Shout out to Magic. Welcome. Yeah, that definitely didn't help. But let's take a little look here. Let's do low-rise jeans versus high-waisted. Let's just see what we're working with. Okay, I think this might be what we're looking for. But yeah, exactly. Oh, the V, when they had the V. Oh my goodness. This is what is alluring. This just tells me that you've stuffed your fucking fat into your pants. And then, I mean, obviously that's fucking hilarious. But yeah, we will never, ever get back to this. And I mean, hey. All right. Maybe she looks a little bit too, maybe she's a little bit too skinny here. Fair enough. But it's the jeans. The jeans we're talking about. Like, oh my goodness. Even that's, yeah, I was going to say, what it used to be down here. I want all the ones with this are not attractive girls who aren't helping my. Oh, this is a perfect example. So like, okay, shit, nothing crazy, but whatever. But you get down here and you get the V, and it's still sexy. Now, what is all this? I'm assuming that you've stuffed all the fat. Yeah, exactly. The fupa. You've stuffed it all there and pulled it all up to here and then pushed it to the back. So you have this one little line of skin like right here that I'm supposed to think is your belly. Meanwhile, your belly is back here. Haram. Insane. Yeah, right? Used to have that V. Girls would go crazy on that shit. There you go. If you know. Matt, so I just feel it's about 70-30 that you go to leave the woman and I've been fucking your brother. It's just how it be. All right, let's dive right back in here. We'll back it up a little bit.
Women suck. Like, they're talking too much. They're not hot anymore. Like, you're fat, you're chubby, you're not as hot as you think you are. You fucking talk too much. You're a bitch.
So we'll obviously get to the brazen misogyny part of that a little later, but I'm just curious. On the one hand, there's this terrible genocide going on of white people. On the other hand, you want people effectively to stop going near women because they all turn out to be so ghastly, so they shouldn't presumably procreate. So how does that work?
Guys, if you are new here, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe. We did just hit 5K, but we had a bunch of haters who were like, I'm going to wait. I'm going to watch your channel from the shadows. And as soon as you hit 5K, we're going to unsubscribe. So they knocked me back down. I think we're at 4,993 or something. Please help me get to that 5K. If we can get to 5K by Christmas, that will be the best gift that you can give me. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Really do appreciate it.
So they shouldn't presumably procreate. So how does that work? I mean, aren't you, with your rhetoric, actively encouraging men not to associate with these ghastly women, therefore not have any more children? Therefore, you are contributing, Nick Fuentes, to the diminishing white population. I'm confused.
Clearly. All right, one more clip here. 125:47.
It's
Do you think you're
always
an
get
expert in
laid,
women,
free love.
given you've never got laid?
Oh, wait. Let's back this up here.
Oh, there's that.
And do you think they should have the right to vote?
Obviously not.
Absolutely not.
They should stay at home?
I've definitely, like, I even will say this year. Well, I'll just for a frame of reference. The beginning of this year, I still thought the repeal of the 19th thing was maybe somewhat tongue in cheek, and maybe somewhat trolling. But as time has gone on, I've really seen the arguments for repealing the 19th. I am still not fully there. Individual liberty just really pushes up against that, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Quality said, make wife beating great again? You're on your own with that one. All right, what do we got here?
Well, yeah, absolutely.
See, basically, you're just a misogynist old dinosaur, aren't you? For a young guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm the boomer here, but actually, you're a 27-year-old dinosaur, aren't you? Aren't you, Nick Fuentes? All women,
I am.
all women are annoying. All women grow
fossil.
old. They all get fat. Says the guy. Have you ever had sex?
No, absolutely not.
Wow. Says the guy who's never got laid.
That's
Wow.
the thing, though. You boomers, it's
Do you think
always
you're an
get
expert in
laid,
women,
free love.
given you've never got laid?
Yeah, we are going back to the Stone Age. You're absolutely right. This, you're talking about empathy, and your kids are empathetic, and they would never laugh at a joke about the Holocaust, and you're a misogynist. You're a simp yourself. You're totally henpecked. That's the problem. So
Let me play
to
another clip of yours about women.
A lot of women want to be raped. And when I say raped, I mean, that sounds bad when I say it like that. But there's like a lot of women that really want a guy to beat the shit out of them. But also they have to pretend. But part of it is they have to pretend like they don't.
You think women want to be raped, do you?
I mean, that's a statistical fact, is it not? I thought there was plenty of polls and surveys about RP fantasies, and that's. I mean, yes, he means dominated, but a literal grape fantasy is a very popular thing. Obviously, that doesn't mean that women want that to happen. It's the danger within a safe context, obviously. But yeah, I mean, it's he ain't wrong. Shout out to Mr. David Gustav. What is your opinions on the ruling religion? Over my head here. What are we talking about? Welcome to the party. Exactly. Feline gets it. Consensual non-consent. It's not new, and it's not even that crazy. Compared to what's out there. I don't even want to think about what's out there, but that's not that crazy.
That's what the studies show, Piers. That is what these statistics
that's what
say.
you believe,
They
is
have
it?
fantasies. They have fantasies about it. I don't think that they want to actually get raped, but there is a study out there.
That's what I thought he meant, but just weirdly phrased. But I think Christianity is the best moral structure that we have, but I don't believe in the truth claim. So yes, I am an agnostic atheist who thinks, again, that Christianity is the best that we have, but I am unconvinced that we cannot do better.
Fantasies about it. I don't think that they want to actually get raped, but there's a study out there.
There you go.
Get ready for this. It says 62% of women have rape fantasies. And if you read anything that they're reading, if you watched what they're watching, what do you think 50 Shades of Grey is about? What do you think Twilight is about?
We were just talking about this, how it's ramped up so much that they used it in Pluribus. That's how they start Pluribus, with some smut, with a bold fucking thing. I don't even know. This is what women are into. We watch P-Hub. They read it.
I mean, that's just true.
You think women want to have the shit beaten out of them, as you said?
Yeah, and it's very disturbing, but it's true.
Do you think your views on women might change if you actually ever had a relationship with one, or had sex and actually had a proper relationship? I mean, people say the reason you're so angry about women is you're basically an incel.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you're asking a really broad question there. You gotta be more specific.
Relationship. I mean, people say the reason you're so angry about women is you're basically an incel.
I'm not angry about it.
You sound very angry. You sound very, very angry about women. They get...
Pro! Interjection! Sorry, Piers, that sounds like you. Sounds like you are getting very angry that this isn't going the way you thought it was going to go. Even though, in general, I agree that all of the things, aside from the women's stuff, all of the things that Piers has called out, I do believe are things that are, he could do better, to put it in a gay way. He could do better in the eyes of someone like a Piers Morgan. But this is not how to do it. This is not how to do it. Shout out to More God's Hammer. Welcome to the party. Said, liked, and shared. Oh, my goodness. Thank you so very, very much, guys. You know how much that stuff really, really does help. Please do hit that like and share. It doesn't even matter if you think anybody's going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform you want more people to see it, they will show it to more people. And again, if you are new here, I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So don't even just subscribe. You know YouTube sucks with those notifications. So ring that bell so you never miss an Indian Jesus party ever. Again, shout out to Mjolnir's Wrath in the building. Yup. Yup. We also got Doom Shop. Welcome to the party. Someone stop this Indian man. I'd like to see you try. Welcome to the party. All right. Let's dive back in here.
Very angry. You sound very, very angry about women. They get
I'm passionate. It's an issue.
You're
I'm passionate about.
You're sounding very bitter about women, as if women have done a terrible disservice to you. But when you don't have relationships, you don't have sex, when are they doing these terrible things to you that's made you so hateful towards women?
If you're new here, this means you're projecting.
Pretty curious.
Was that? I don't think that was a hateful clip. I think I was laughing. I said they want men to beat the shit out of them, and that's just true. I mean, when you look at the state of modern women, all they do is lay in their bed, doom scroll. They're chilling out. They're getting a little fat. It is what it is. I don't know what the average weight is, but they're getting a little heavy. And any guy that is playing the field these days will tell you that. I mean, and I know a lot of the Chads. I am an incel. I'm friends with a lot of Chads like Bradley Martin, Clavicular. They agree with me. You know, there's sort of like this alliance between the guys that don't have sex and the guys that get the most sex. We know what women are about. It's the guys in the middle.
Yep. As somebody who's, not really raking it in, not really trying, but yeah, exactly. It's the simpery that we see with the Akash Singhs of the world that, really mess it up for everyone. Morgoth's Hammer said it's 67%. What's 67%? The term incel is nonsensical. How is it nonsensical? If you are celibate and involuntarily so, where's the contradiction in that? I see no contradiction. All right, so like I said, just a couple pieces of that I wanted to show so that we have all of the context. So I don't remember if it was the next day or the day after, but Piers brought on a bunch of people to talk about the Nick situation. And I think that Milo did a decent job as a person who was, kind of occupying a similar space in his day, but Crowder just nailed it and brought it home. Let's dive right in.
Imagine the scene, a veteran TV host causing outrage by interviewing a rising alt-right star who's facing accusations of racism, anti-Semitism, and much more besides. Just Bill Maher interviewed Milo Yiannopoulos almost 9 years ago. And some of those who despair at the mainstream rise of Nick Fuentes and his followers believe a lot of this all started back then. Well, Milo Yiannopoulos joins me now. Welcome to...
Oh, damn. Real quick before we get back to that. Morgoth's Hammer said 67%. I was like, what's 67%? 67% have fantasized about being involuntary sperm recipients, as Morgoth puts it. Well said. Interesting. I don't know if you know numbers, but that's more than half.
Uncensored.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
I remember the Bill Maher thing. I remember the fallout from that. Now, when you look back at that, Milo, when you see what's happening with Nick Fuentes, do you feel that you were like at the start of all this, that you were partly responsible for all this? How do you feel about it?
I certainly feel as though it looks a little similar to
One second, sorry.
when I was speaking at Berkeley and causing, giving journalists conniptions. But I think there's something very distinctly different about me and somebody like Nick Fuentes. We've moved quite dramatically in America toward a sort of, I would call it something like an epistemological crisis. 10 years ago, we had positions. There were people with intellectual hinterlands who had opinions and who were consistent in their political beliefs. I don't think Nick Fuentes really believes in anything at all. And I think it's partly a result of the press spinning out of control to attack Donald Trump. There are all kinds of etiologies for it. But I think it's quite a different moment we're experiencing now. And I think he's quite a different phenomenon.
I mean, I interviewed him at length and put to him a number of more controversial things that he said. He doubled down on most of it. He unashamedly said he was racist. He explained why he was racist in a very racist manner. He was blatantly misogynist and unashamedly so. He kind of hedged round about Holocaust denial, but I suspect, as some people have said since, he was playing a sort of arch satirical game with me about that. So that
he was, Piers, because you were playing a game with him. You invited him on for a gotcha moment, and it failed. So yeah, he was playing games. If you'd brought him in there the way that Crowder did, the way that Tucker did, and pushed back, but were respectful instead of laughing at I mean, what are you doing, bro?
He could say later he didn't really mean it. How much of what is going on with him is performative? How much of it, you know him, you used to hang out with him and Ye and others. How much of it is real? How much does he really believe?
Well, I tried to befriend Nick because I wondered if there was anything to save there. And so I became, I suppose, something like a mentor to him for a couple of years. And it turned out that there really wasn't. He's a person who just wants to hurt people. And I couldn't find, it was like nailing jelly to the wall. I couldn't find any consistent or substantive kind of core to him in any way. I mean, Nick is a kind of chameleonic character in media. On one day, he'll go on a podcast hosted by an African-American who has rappers on, and he'll say, oh, I love immigrants. I know illegal immigrants. No, they're not bad people. And then he'll come on with you where he feels he's on surer ground, and he'll sort of do the smirking, double down kind of mischievous routine. He's a very gifted speaker. He's obviously got very high verbal IQ. He's a very charismatic person. But having observed him and having known him for a little while and been on the receiving end of some of his worst behavior, he's something distinctively different, as I mentioned before, from the provocateurs of a decade ago and the decades before that, in that he is, I think, emblematic of Gen Z, really, in being quite a pure and sort of terrifyingly pure nihilist. And really, I couldn't tell you an opinion, aside from hating Jews, that if he has on Tuesday, he will absolutely for sure still have on Thursday. And that can't be a good thing.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. But the fact that I can't say, no, that's not Nick, or yup, absolutely, is the problem I was talking about with Nick's rhetoric.
You mentioned that you're the son of a woman, your mother, who was born in Germany, who was Jewish. I suppose it begs the question, knowing how apparently anti-Semitic he is. I mean, he's constantly attacking Jews, constantly accusing Jews of running the world in a malevolent way and so on. Why would you want to hang around with someone like him? And indeed, Ye, for that matter, who then began spewing anti-Semitic content.
Well, Ye is in a completely different category. I mean, Ye is a generational genius. I mean, he can speak for himself. He doesn't need me to speak for him. These two people are in completely different categories. I think that maybe to British ears, some of the...
But it's not working. Real quick, guys. I don't know what they did with the likes, so I'm just going to assume that you guys are all amazing and have already hit the like button. Thank you.
Of course, in America, can sound really just baffling and horrifying and hateful. And it's important to understand what's really going on. Whereas 10 years ago, we were sort of saying things to be mischievous and naughty, provocative.
Well, I think that's what this is. I think this is him reflecting, maybe not self-reflecting on his own, but he's having other people say, well, how do you think that this went? And it's going to get deeper and a little bit more contentious.
And to push the boundaries. That now has sort of evolved into a less ironic kind of I guess you call it an equal opportunities loathing for everybody in the forms of people like Nick Fuentes. But, I got to say, I don't have that much of a problem with a lot of what he says when he's talking about, when you were sort of incredulous about his misogyny, I felt it actually was a little unfair to him because 10 years ago, we were talking about how men were getting left behind, how women were overtaking them at university, how the world had suddenly, bafflingly, and very, very abruptly become quite a hostile place to be a man. That situation has not gotten better. And so I think his generation's hostility toward women is, lamentable, but very understandable.
I mean, very understandable. I don't know how else you put that. Shout out to One Love. Welcome to the party. I don't know who he is, but welcome. We got Santa. Santana? Santa. I'm calling you Santa. Piers is the biggest fuck. I think he needs an adjustment. That sounds scary. An adjustment? Just want to talk to the guy. Welcome.
And, when he comes to talk about, what he would call Jewish power, there is a discussion to be had there that has not been had for a very long time because people have been, spooked or intimidated or threatened into silence because of an event 75, 80 years ago, which has been, weaponized against, I think, legitimate debate about, for instance, what the state of Israel is up to. I think it's really good. I mean, and I got to tell you, I really give you a lot of credit for breaking with the establishment on Israel, and coming up with the opinion that you have, which I think is the correct one. But it was very difficult up until about 5 years ago to speak plainly and honestly about some of the most appalling behavior of the Israeli state, because you knew what was going to happen. You knew what you were going to get called. And I do think there's some value to having a character like Nick. I'm not a fan of Nick's, but
oh damn, I was half joking, but fucking dilly to you guys. 100% likes. Guys, that stuff, it helps out so much. I hate constantly harping on it, but thank you so much. It really, really, really does help.
And I do think there's some value to having a character like Nick. I'm not a fan of Nick's, but I do at least see some positive benefit in, if you like, the wreckage he's left behind.
But the problem is that his Groypers, his fan club, all the abuse that spewed my way since I did the interview was entirely predictable. But I've been really struck, not just by how blatantly misogynist and violent it is about women, and I don't really accept the defense that, men have been treated badly. I've been leading the charge for young men to be treated better, for the man bashing to stop us on. It doesn't mean at the same time you have to just belittle and demean women, or say they shouldn't be allowed to vote, or shouldn't be allowed a job, or they're going to get old and fat and ugly and they're all annoying. I mean, that's not about defending the male position. It's about just demeaning and belittling and attacking women, which is to me grotesque. But I think in terms of
button,
it does,
why isn't it button? I'm pressing the button
in the context of a very heavily feminized society. I mean, we have speech codes in the workplace. We have exams rewritten to favor.
Anyway, what did he just say?
To me, grotesque. But I think in terms of it does.
So he was saying it's about attacking women, not uplifting men. But like they're inextricably connected. You can't only talk about men and dating in relationships unless you're talking about the gays, because it doesn't work like that.
Look ugly, but you have to understand it in the context of a very heavily feminized society. I mean, we have speech codes in the workplace. We have exams rewritten to favor girls. I mean, it's not just that women are pulling ahead in university. I mean, women really have engineered the world againut men. And
now it's pausing. I forget to like videos all the time. As I'm watching, especially ironically, the better the video, the more likely I'm going to be sucked into the video and forget about the analytics and stuff. So I get why people have to constantly be saying, like, subscribe and comment and this and that and that and that. And it is annoying, but it really, really, really does help. Chuck E. Cheese, thank you so very much for hanging out. You have a good one.
Pulling ahead in university. I mean, women really have engineered the world against men. And I'm not saying that I like the tone that some of these Zoomers take, but do I understand it? I sure do. I really do understand. A 22-year-old guy today has no realistic prospect of building a life for himself, and no path to being a patriarch, no path to being a husband and father that he can plausibly see. So the drop.
So let's just take that part. You have no path to becoming a father. You have no path to. Okay, well then, what? Why is that? Because society has been shifting to become more feminized. That doesn't mean women bad. That's just it is what it is. Guys, don't forget that every single donation comes with a treat. For the Overlord Morty, he is sleeping and he is hungry.
Out, they're getting hostile, they're getting bitter. Do I get it? I'll be honest with you, I do. I do understand it.
And what about his racism? He just admitted, I'm a racist, and then explain why. He doesn't want to be walking around near black people and so on. I mean, he articulated perfectly what it is to be a racist, where you want to be away from people.
But don't you think everyone feels a little bit... Don't you think everyone feels just slightly like that? Maybe he's an extreme case in the wake of George Floyd, and perhaps their frustration is with the white liberals that made it happen, or whatever. But I mean, there is a phrase. I hope it's okay that I use a safer version of the word. There's a phrase in America at the moment, Negro fatigue, and it is used to describe people just being.
I mean, in America, just to be sensitive, we call it black fatigue. It's a little harder. It's a little harder, even though still the word Negro doesn't feel good coming out of my mouth, but the black fatigue really hits. Shout out to Box in the building. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir. So we were just watching the Nick Fuentes and Piers interview. And then the next day or the day after, he brought on Milo and then Steven Crowder to talk about it. And I think it was really interesting what happened. So let's dive back in here. Welcome to just downwards.
Of hearing about black people. This
I mean that's the liberal liberal training, the liberal training of all of us.
Black people complaining in the wake of George Floyd, which was just the most grotesque absurdity and an offense to common sense and to decency.
More guys said I have black fatigue concerning black noise. What is black noise? I've not heard that before. Josie said, as a Hispanic woman, I agree with Nick Fuentes in just about everything. A lot of people do. So don't you think that it would be... So would you prefer that more people understood what Nick actually meant? Or do you prefer being part of this, we'll call it a subculture where it's like underground, like only the real people know what's really good? Which would you prefer?
An offense to common sense and to decency.
Do you think it's acceptable and decent to use a phrase like the one you just used?
I don't think there's too much wrong with what I just said. I certainly don't wake up in the morning glad that the world is more full of hate. I'm a Catholic, so the most important thing to me is not.
So why would you use a phrase like the one you just used? If you don't want to fuel that kind of thing,
I don't think.
Why would you use?
Bingo. So Doom Shop, I am with you. If I'm not a fan of Nick, but if I was, I would want the people I'm a fan of. I would want their ideas to be spread further so that can actually change. And the question stands, is that what Nick actually wants, or does he just want you guys to agree with him and raise his profile? Liberty said, if you switch Jew to occultist, Nick is right about a lot, but his prescriptions are retarded, and Crowder kind of showed that when he interviewed Nick. Bingo! Exactly! And that is why I think it's so poignant when we are actually hearing what Crowder has to say to Piers when they both interviewed him. So let's dive back in.
Use a phrase that is so inflammatory.
Well, there are much worse versions of that. I was using a sanitized version out of respect for your program.
I doubt the average black viewer watching this or African American who hears about that is going to see it that way.
I think they'd rather be called what I said than have somebody who than have white people kind of tied up in knots, not even sure whether they should call them African American or black, because these things are sort of used as a sort of ever-changing linguistic weaponry against.
So here we go. Matt saying, well, a cult is acceptable, in my opinion. Yeah, agreed. And then, so if he wanted to be more successful in terms of changing the landscape, comparing changing the landscape versus personal success, don't you think it would have been better to use terminology like the occultist and then determine that, well, there's a lot of Jewry in this occult? Wouldn't that be way more effective? I think so. But I'm actually trying to change things, not just trying to get rich. Speaking of which, Morty's hungry, guys. Liberty said, if conservatives can't see that more centralized authority is the opposite of conservatism, we're fucked. Bingo. That is why we should all be watching Pluribus. Everybody should be watching Pluribus. I think what I'm going to do, we're going to do a mega stream. After this, because it's only 9 episodes, and we got 2 more episodes left. So in a couple weeks, what I'm going to do is we're going to have a master stream, and I'm just going to binge the whole fucking thing with you guys. It'll have to be on Rumble, obviously. It's going to be a good time.
used as a sort of ever-changing linguistic weaponry against one racist society. Look, I mean, you can get waylaid and go down on a tangent about that if you want. What I was trying to explain in anthropological
That's what he wants. That's what he wants.
way, it was explain to you, how people are feeling in America, and it's not just 22-year-old far-right racists that feel like this. It's not.
Well, what I'm struggling to do, if I'm honest with you,
it's-
Milo, I'm struggling to see where you are different to Fuentes, other than you speak in a posh English accent. I mean, you've basically agreed with everything he's been saying while saying, I don't agree with him.
No, I mean, I think there's a big difference between
We got a dilly from equality to liberty. Dilly to you, sir. A shout out to the captain of the Moral Felon crew. Welcome. Very good to see you, sir. Said if you do the master stream, can we debate too, so we can combine the two? Sure, brother. Whatever you want. The ironic thing is that I think there would be a lot of debate in that. We would definitely have to do that in 2 or 3 parts, because even though an episode is an hour, we want to be like, okay, wait. So you see how that happened? That's this and that and that and that and that and that. And so there'd be a lot of debate. I've been trying to do that forever, but you guys aren't about it.
Somebody who is leaning into animosity and hatred of others, and somebody who is observing it happening, sympathetic about the origins, and lamenting the fact that it exists. I mean, I don't think the tone that I'm taking, irrespective of my accent, is anything like the way that Nick talks, and I think the comparison is slightly silly.
Well, because I think you can say
just because I can understand, because I'm empathetic to this group of people, and because I think that now and again they have a point about things, doesn't make me Nick. It means that I can perhaps understand that group a little bit, sort of see where they're coming from in some respects. And making friends with Nick was my intention was if I can have one foot in that world and one foot in the sane world of everybody else, maybe I could help bridge the gap there. It turned out not to be the case, because he's let's say not a bridge builder, but
what is it specifically you don't agree with him?
Isn't it?
What is it you don't agree with him about?
I think he has a reductionist and grievance fueled view of the world that explains almost everything that's wrong with America, geopolitics, the economic state of his generation, and the fact that he can't get a good burger. It all seems to be the Jew fault. And there are some things.
Yeah. So again, it's not uncommon for people to look at Nick and hear Nick and think that he is just straight up anti-Semitic. I now understand that that's not where he is, but as somebody who is, in this space, that should be more clear. That is a failure on Nick's part, unless, like I keep saying, the goal is not to spread his ideas, but to build the cult of Nick.
That now and again that do strike one as unusual, whether it's a Jewish overrepresentation in certain industries. There are certainly criticisms to be had of Israel, but Nick reducing the whole world down to a vast Jewish conspiracy, and it would all just be fine if we could smash Jewish power. I don't have anything remotely like that kind of point of view.
Well, how could you? Your mother's Jewish.
I think it's strange that you're. I think Jewish. Yeah, I think it's strange. I'm confused as to why you seem so anxious to suggest that we're identical. It's quite.
No, I didn't say that. I'm just as you were defending him over the misogyny, defending him over the anti-Semitism, defending him over the racism. I just began to conclude that although you're saying it in a different way, and obviously I was being ironic, I myself speak in a English accent. But it seemed to me that you were going out of your way to defend things which I thought were pretty deplorable in that interview.
And so it just goes, a little bit further on like that. And we're just seeing that Milo's trying to reach him and be like, hey, you thought it was this, but it's that. So, and he's like, nope. But we got to stop the show. Oh, my goodness. Shout out to equality and deference, because vagina. Getting us started with the $2 Rumble rant. Oh, we got for the Verdies. Oh, wait. Oh, come on, bro. I can't reach that far. You lazy fuck. There he is. Thank you. So very, very much. And then we had our boy Box with another $5 for the Overlord. Thank you so very, very much. And again, with 5 gifted memberships. Again, guys. Every single donation comes with a treat for Morty, and make sure you check the goal at the top of the chat if we hit that goal of 15 super chats in total, or a total of $50, then he gets an extra special treat. And you're going to make me have to do push-ups. Look how puny I am. Look how puny I need your help. Thank you guys so very, very much. And shout out to our new sponsor of the stream. Very, very, very much appreciated. Let's dive right back in.
You're getting your way to defend things, which I thought were pretty deplorable in that interview.
Well, I'm trying to understand where these guys are coming from, because there's a lot of them. There's a whole generation of them. And if we simply write them off as racist, sexist, misogynist pigs, we'll lose them. And we'll lose them to people like Nick Fuentes.
Yep.
And I take the view that it would be better to understand what of their package of opinions has validity and what does not. Understand where some of their anxieties and concerns are coming from. Figure out what we can fix and try to rescue a generation that seems to me to be sliding into nihilism and hatred of everybody. Isn't that a good thing?
Yup.
Well, I mean, look, if we expand it, if you look at someone like Ye, you represent him, I think, right? You work with him still?
Boom, guys. Thank you again. Thank you so very, very much. We're up to 1258 on the Morty Memorial Fund. As you can see, he is doing just fine right now, but the vet says that is a temporary situation. I would love to be able to send him off. Oh, I didn't add the names there, but 3 out of 15 super chats, and we are $1 away from the halfway mark, just like that. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Cannot tell you how much I appreciate you.
Yes, I manage the lawyers, and I run this family office. Yeah.
You know, and again, I would simply say this is a guy who, on the record, I would have asked him this if he hadn't walked out of our last interview to get him to explain why he said these things. But you know, only 3 years ago, literally 3 years ago this month, he praised Hitler, denied the Holocaust. I love Jewish people, but I also love Nazis. I do love Hitler. He posted an image of a swastika fused within a Star of David, which led to a second suspension from X for incitement to violence, and so on. Right, he then produced a song called Heil Hitler, which was banned from.
All right, so we know all about this. So let's go to Crowder. Crowder doing the damn thing.
I think I member of the Uncensored.
So again, like I said, I appreciate that Piers is definitely a dinosaur. Piers is definitely oh, I didn't even read this. My bad, brother. Bucks for the $5 said Piers put in 2% preparation in his Nick interview, and it showed. Bingo. Absolutely. He was not prepared for what Nick or how Nick was going to be. He should have watched a lot more content from his own show, because then it would have been. You're absolutely right. He would have been more prepared to ask about specific things instead of just being like, "Well, you're racist. You don't like women." You're like, come on, bro. That's all we got these days. That's all we got. There we go. Thank you again, sir. I lost my place in the chat where we Matt said, it does seem like he's trying to build the cult of Nick. Still not gonna watch him out. Me neither. I'm willing to have my my ideas changed. My opinion changed. But he's got a lot of work to do before we do that. Liberty said Piers is realizing that actually a lot of people agree with Nick more than him. Yep. Doomsday's not trying. He already has the cult. Well, there you go. And so if he already has the cult, and he wants to weaponize, not necessarily in a bad way, but utilize that cult to make changes, he's there. And so maybe that is why we're seeing him on Tucker and Crowder and Piers. Maybe that's what's going on. And like I said, I'm happy to change my mind and be like, okay, well, he used to be a little shit, but I like what he's doing now. I'm fine with that. This is kink. Maybe. Adam said Nick should be called out, but Piers was not the man for the job. Bingo. Well said. Yes, we all love Morty. Hey, I can't eat that much, but I can eat a little bit really fast. Yeah, a little bigger. I don't know about that. I don't know. Do we see any difference? I don't know. I feel like a puny little bitch. Slowly but surely. Well, with your guys' help, it definitely is helping. Just said I started wearing Hugo Boss. Well, they're cool. They're cool, bro. Josie said Rumble Nick is so unhinged, but so entertaining. we're going to have to, I think, as he is rising in the ranks in terms of the level of seriousness that people take him with, we're going to have to eventually dive into like an actual deep dive of what he says. Shout out to Ryan. Welcome. But the idea that the eternal almighty God, the power that set the stars and sun, what? I don't know what you're talking about, Willis. Let's dive back in. Welcome.
Censored team, noticed that one of the first eager superfans to comment on my interview with Nick Fuentes was Stephen Crowder, the host of Louder with Crowder, who wrote on our YouTube channel, How to Not Conduct an Interview 101. And Mr. Crowder joins me now. Welcome to you, Mr. Crowder.
Thank you for having me, sir. Merry Christmas. Or do you guys say Happy Christmas? I've heard it both ways.
We do both. I'd be very happy to wish you a Happy Christmas and a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Despite you impugning my qualities as an interviewer. You did expand on this. You said Piers Morgan is a liberal at heart, which I think is probably right. So he spent the whole interview trying to gotcha his way through identity politics on a guy who already rejects the premise. I did think that was an interesting commentary, actually.
Like right there, you're trying to play a game of identity politics where he's already said, I don't fucks with that game. What did you expect?
Probably right. So he spent the whole interview trying to gotcha his way through identity politics on a guy who already rejects the premise. I did think that was an interesting commentary, actually. I was
rich.
Start by saying I wasn't trying to gotcha him because I'd already made it clear I was going to put to him, I'd already said this publicly, I was going to put to him all the more contentious things that he has said, which have gained notoriety, and challenge him properly about them, which I think I did. I don't categorize that as a gotcha. He got very exercised about the story involving his father. And I said on an earlier panel we did that actually, if I had my time again, I wouldn't have named his father, although it's easily discoverable on the internet, but I wouldn't have done that.
And again, so as we, the clips that I showed are mainly what Crowder is responding to here. So that's why I brought up the story where Nick was saying that his dad didn't want to go to Applebee's because that's black people food.
His father, although it's easily discoverable on the internet, but I wouldn't have done that. I would still have told the anecdote because as I tried to explain to Nick Fuentes, the story was put in the public domain by Nick Fuentes about his father in a way in which you could only construe from it that his father made decisions when Nick Fuentes was young, which appeared to be racist decisions. And I was curious whether he felt he was a product of that environment. Now, he went nuts about that, and he's perfectly entitled to. And he's come after me and my...
He didn't go nuts about it. He just was very calm but assertive and saying, can we just move on? My dad's not here. He works a job and this could affect him. So let's just move on. What did he say? Went crazy?
Nuts about that.
Yeah, he didn't go nuts.
And he's perfectly entitled to. And he's come after me and my family. If he's perfectly entitled to do all that, I don't care. But I was curious why you felt that I was playing gotcha with him and not just actually, I think, doing my job as a journalist and just challenging him about the more contentious things that he said.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I don't think you challenged him on the most contentious things. And by the way, it's not an impugnment of your character. It's a different interviewing style, right? I think that trying to shame someone like Nick Fuentes for being racist, for being a misogynist, like that's a layup for him. He's already been accused of that, and I don't think it's very fruitful. I mean, I don't want to conflate gotcha with challenging. So I would say, by the way, yeah, if he's going after your family, Nick Fuentes, if you're watching, strongly condemn that from your audience if anything is happening out of line. But I also would say, when the guy makes a good point and says, hey, you know what, my dad's not here to defend himself. Could we move on from that? Don't do it 6 more times. But I counted 6 times and you're not able to get.
That's a lot. That's a lot of times. When he's like, I'd respectfully, I would not like to talk about this. Okay, how about this? 6 times? 3 is, all right, you're a journalist. The point is to get the scoop. But 6, come on.
To where you actually have disagreements. See, when I sat down with Nick, and yeah, I played his clips back. People could argue that it was tedious, but I would play a 1.5-minute clip, a 2-minute clip, because I wanted to show it in context. And I was able to actually lay out, we were actually able to contrast our policy, our prescription differences, where people know. And so I think if you go after, father being racist, I don't even know that you would construe his father's being racist because he doesn't like Applebee's. No one likes Applebee's. No.
I mean, I like Applebee's. I do think that is a racist notion to say we're not going to Applebee's because that's black people food. That's racist. Is it the end of the world? No. Am I going to cry about it? No. But that's what racism means.
No one likes Olive Garden.
Hang on. That's not what he said. He literally told the story that his father didn't like that particular restaurant chain or others because they were known for black fare.
Sure.
Well, that's racist.
Shout out to Jeremy, not Jeremy Renner. Welcome to the party. Very good to see you, sir.
Sure.
Well, that's racist.
Black fare. What if people don't like black fare as far as food? What if people don't want to be somewhere where they're more likely to end up in a world star hip hop video? This is where we get to the issue of you and him discussing per capita. Right? Let me ask you this. Like you're a Catholic. We were talking about this. You said you'd be happy to talk about it. What do you think is going to be fruitful in attacking a celibate Catholic for not getting laid?
I didn't attack him.
You're driving people into his arms.
I didn't attack him.
He said he needs to get laid.
I think he does.
That's a heresy.
I think he does. I think he's an incel.
So you advocate heresy.
I think I perfectly understand if you're a devout Catholic, which I'm not. If you're I was brought up a Catholic and I was given.
But he is, and you either know that or definitely should have known that. That was the biggest moment. The biggest moment that Nick had was when the liberal, the liberal boomer is trying to say, don't be a Christian, you should be fucking girls. I don't think there is a worse thing that you could say in that interview. What would be worse than that? What would be worse?
You understand if you're a devout Catholic, which I'm not. If you're I was brought up a Catholic and I was given spiritual guidance by Catholic nuns, and a lot of my family are very devout Catholics. I'm not particularly, but I still adhere to, broadly adhere to Catholicism, albeit there are parts of the teachings I don't agree with. So that's my position on it. But I can understand if he'd said to me, the reason I've never had
sex. Then why bring it up, Piers? Why is it relevant whether he's been late or not? Because I said in my interview specifically, just so you know, I'll answer for everything I say. When I interviewed him, I said, I hate it when people use something that should be seen as a virtue as an attack. Out of all the views, if you view them as reprehensible, and I, by the way, strongly disagree with a lot of Nick's views, the least relevant is whether he's celibate as a devout Catholic. That's like a good thing. And so you actually give him the moral high ground.
Actually, had he said to me, out of it. Yeah, but hang on, you're putting up a better defense, if I may suggest, than he did. Because had he said to me, I'm a devout Catholic, and the reason I haven't had sex is because the Catholic Church forbids that and says you should be married before you have sex. Perfectly reasonable answer. That's not
okay. But again, Piers, it's not a secret. It's not a secret that Nick Fuentes is a Christian. Well, again, either you knew what you were doing or you weren't prepared to do your job. Pick whichever one works best for you, brother.
Church forbids that and says you should be married before you have sex. Perfectly reasonable answer. That's not what he said. He never said that at all.
So you didn't do your research because he said that.
Hold the fucking phone. This did not happen. What? We definitely need a side quest for this. Are you trolling me? Piers Morgan. No way. This is real? What? Fake Las Vegas. Okay. Whew. I was like, Jesus. Piers Morgan, let's do that. Piers Morgan and Paris Hilton are linked. They're humorous fake Las Vegas wedding stage for the TV show around 2009, 2010. Okay. I was gonna be like, God damn, how did I miss that? But it did happen. Indeed. Indeed you do. Shit. All right. Side quest over. Let's go back.
Answer. That's not what he said. He never said that at all.
So you didn't do your research because he said that literally dozens of times.
He may have said it elsewhere. He didn't say it to me.
So like Crowder just said, you didn't do your research.
Because he said that literally dozens of times.
He may have said it elsewhere. He didn't say it to me. I only asked him about that stuff because there is a view that he is what they call an incel, and that he whips up that kind of mentality, and that's why he's such a misogynist about women and so on. It's an interesting thing to ask him. He seemed to me quite happy to answer it all. He was quite emphatic in his answers. Fine. I didn't see that as an attack. I was joking about getting laid because it's.
Let's see if the disciples come through for the Overlord.
Seems to me he's a very angry guy.
Can I jump in for a second here? Because this is where I think this is important, right? His audience will. People out there, by the way, some who are voluntarily celibate because they're devout Christians, but also if you look at the dating pool out there, I don't think it's misogyny to say, I wouldn't date one of those young women if they were growing on my ass. And they're actually out there living in a world that's been created. They will identify you as someone who's helped create that, right? Someone who says, I don't care if the UK no longer looks white. I don't care if we lose our cultural identity. Hey, it's great, women's rights. And they're looking at their prospects. And when you say, hey, you're celibate or whatever it is, you haven't gotten laid, you're an incel. Guess what? You give him the moral high ground. When you say, hey, what about your dad? And he asks you, and I will say, he asked pretty respectfully, don't do that. You go on 6 more times. What did you ask about
because I thought what he was doing.
Said little twerp.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Said little twerp.
Stephen, I hear you. I hear you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying, honestly, I'm not, because I've got a lot of respect for you. I think that
well, thank you.
I think what he tried to do, I think he was taken aback when I revealed that anecdote about his father. And I think he didn't want to address what he actually said on air with that anecdote, because it's pretty damning when you hear it. And I think he decided very quickly, because he's a smart, quick operator, to turn it into me attacking him about his dad who wasn't there and how disgusting and blah. And that's fine.
No, I agree with Piers that the situation, the anecdote that Nick told is an example of his father being racist. That is what happened. But the part that Piers keeps missing is that Nick and the younger generation in general, they're like, I don't fucking care about that word. I care about reality. I care about life. I care about what happens to me on a day-to-day basis, my family. I don't care about this silly word. And it is racist. But like Crowder said, you lose the moral high ground by trying to fucking hammer that in. It's like if somebody steals a pack of gum and you fucking blast them point blank, like, but he stole gum. Theft is wrong. It's like, okay, bro, but like, ease up. Adams and Piers should have moved on. This fuck up is only making Nick more known and making him look dumber. Go read. Zane said, never agreed with what Piers has said. Well, you also don't like the Overlord, so we don't know how much we can trust you. Then said, don't matter that it was a long time ago. Oh, you're talking to each other? Word up. Shout out to Tim Says. Welcome.
Into me attacking him about his dad who wasn't there and how disgusting and blah. And that's fine, but I kept trying to bring him back. I kept saying, look, it's not an attack on your father.
To his dad.
Well, I wasn't attacking his dad. I was saying.
Right, so then you weren't listening. You weren't listening to the reasons why Nick didn't want to talk about it. Not because he wasn't willing to defend the ideas, but literally because his dad was not there and because of his dad's work. You have no leg to stand on.
If you tell a story which looks to the world when they hear it that you're saying your father was racist, can that have an influence on you as you grow up? That was the question I was making. I didn't want him to...
Yeah, Morgan's Hammer said racism has become trite. I mean, that's the understatement of the century, I think.
Getting off the hook of answering that question about his environment, having heard him in his own words put that story out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, here's the thing. In trying to keep him 6 times, and that's what I counted, on the hook for his dad maybe being a racist. Look, if your dad's in the Klan, it couldn't be relevant. It has nothing to do with the price of tea in China, right? What hook?
Well, it is if you openly admit to being a racist,
Hold on, asking him about Stalin. And I say this because the last time I was on your show, remember we were talking about Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
And by the way, I would hope that you would be just as hard on Candace and people like Tucker for some of the things that they've said.
Sure.
I think it's fair to be even-handed across the board.
Yeah, I agree.
Stalin, I said I would like to ask him about that, right? Is he a fan? Is he actually an admirer? Or does he just mean to say he's fascinated? What did you ask? You asked him about his dad 6 times. You attacked him as and I don't mean attack him. You present him, but racist, misogynist, right? Stuff that he already knows. That's the playbook. You'll drive your fans into his own arms. What was your question on Stalin?
Well, I asked him.
There wasn't one.
Well, there was actually.
Shout out to Fenris. Welcome to the party. Well, thank you so very, very much. I do get a lot of Indian Moist critical, but they're trying to keep me down. So share the video. Guys, remember, it does not even matter if you think anybody is going to click on the link. Just by you telling the platform, hey, I want more people to see this. They will show it to more people. Thank you so very, very much for being here. Let's dive back in. Oh, we got Shelby. Welcome. Said my dad was racist and had the opposite effect on me. I was never racist. Well, there you go. So it's not as... And, I mean, how often do we see this in other areas as well, where my parents are very religious and I'm not? We see a lot of people who grow up in conservative households and then go to college and become blue-haired liberal feminists, whatever. So I definitely think that this is such a focus on the ills of Piers Morgan show, because I think when we look at like this is a legacy media style setup to the point where they even have the fucking delay in the headphones. I'm convinced they do that on purpose because it makes people yell over each other more, but that's a whole other thing. Hey, shout out to Santa for subscribing. Thank you so very, very much, guys. Hey, and we got Cheddar Steve over on Rumble. Good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. He's a fuck. But he's part of the legacy media zeitgeist, shall we say. And he's done better at bringing that to YouTube than I think anybody else has. But it's just not a sustainable way to have these discussions. Sorry, bud. Good. All right, let's dive back in.
To his own arms. What was your question on Stalin?
Well, I asked him.
There wasn't one.
Well, there was actually.
There wasn't one.
No, you're
No,
missing.
there wasn't.
No, there was. You just didn't hear it. So I actually brought on a British journalist called Danny Finkelstein, who spent 90 seconds in a video talking about what Stalin and Hitler had done to his family. I did it in the context of him saying Hitler's cool, but Stalin was addressed in that, and he was totally dismissive.
Yeah. Well, he said being racist used to mean that you hated a person for their race, or at the very least were willing to be bigoted towards them. It never meant that you hate being killed by another race, or that you simply want to have a people. And I mean, you know, it just doesn't have any meaning at all. It just means bad. It just means bad. And according to who? Such a weak word. You know, perfect analogy here. Oh my goodness, how have I not thought about this before? You know, for those of you who don't know, I am a professional dog trainer. And so when I have a new client, then we're talking about setting up a language structure. Obviously, you're not going to be talking about philosophy with your dog, but if you do it properly, you can communicate pretty widely with your dog. And so the basis is a yes marker and a no marker. So the yes marker, we just say yes, but opposite of that, you'd think we would say no for the no marker, but we don't. Why is that? Why don't we use the word no with dogs? Because the word no doesn't have any sharp sounds to it. Just So it gets easy for them to ignore that. And so you want something sharp, like a hup or a something like that. And then it works. Racism is the no of dog training. I figured it out.
It was cool, but Stalin was addressed in that, and he was totally dismissive of a Jewish man talking about his family being annihilated by Stalin and Hitler.
Do you hear yourself? Do you think that's going to be effective or fruitful?
Well, it wasn't. It wasn't.
Finkelstein? No, it wasn't. You didn't ask me. Let me read you what I asked him about Stalin. Okay, because I think a lot of people, you responded saying it was softball. Did you watch the whole interview that I conducted with Nick?
Well, before you read what you're about to read, let me play a little mashup of you interviewing Nick Fuentes, and you can respond to this. Hang on.
Okay, but did you watch the whole interview?
Yeah,
Nick Fuentes, do you hate all Jews, sir?
Notice how we just quickly cut away. Oh, I'm going to use the time right after you've asked me this question to gotcha. Morgoth Hammer said, you're a racist translates to, I don't like you, bad person. Pretty much. Santa said, people can't communicate with each other. How can they communicate with other animals? For that, you gotta pay a premium.
No, I don't.
Okay.
People can communicate with them. They just don't very well. People can communicate with their animals. They just don't very well.
Do you consider yourself an anti-Semite, a noted anti-Semite?
No.
Okay. Clears that up. Do you believe that white people are superior to all other races on the planet?
No.
Okay. Do you want to eradicate all non-whites from the United States?
No.
Okay, well, Barry Weiss will be very happy to hear that. No doubt she's watching. And then because this happens a lot, right? Tucker did this with you. Fed. Nick Fuentes, are you in fact a Fed?
No.
Okay.
I got to say, mate, it's one of the most forensic examinations of interviewing masterclass I think I've ever seen. I mean, the follow-ups were magnificent.
Nick,
But again, and I imagine this is why Crowder asked if he had seen the whole interview. It's just like, bro, what are you doing? Do you think that was the meat of the conversation? Is that what you think came out of that?
Magnificent.
Pierce, did you watch the whole interview?
No.
No, you didn't. Okay, so one of us came here quite a bit more prepared, which seems to be your approach with Nick. So let me read you my exact question on Stalin. Those were layups specifically because, again, I think you and I both agree, right? We want to have reasonable discussions. You don't want to radicalize people.
I agree.
Get rid of the bull crap on the outset so that we could actually get to real differences. And I think here's something that I really pursue when I interview someone: truth and understanding. I asked him about Stalin. Let me read you the exact question later on. It would help if you watched the whole interview. I said, my question to you would be, I know that you've said we want a Catholic theocracy or a Christian theocracy. I've heard the word dictatorship. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would ask you, since the endpoint seems similar to where Stalin would want us to reach, swap atheism for Catholicism, would you be able to name, or is there any one thing that you think America concretely should copy about Stalin's rule or revolutionary methods to get there?
That is how you have a discussion with somebody who you think their ideas are crazy, abhorrent, and whatever. You can say whatever you want in the privacy of your own home, with your friends, you're on your own stream, whatever. But if you're going to talk to someone, talk to them, not at them. I thought Tucker and Nick was really good because it was the first time that I personally was able to see Nick outside of his own little cave where he's very comfortable, doing his own thing. And as somebody who is not nearly of the size of any of these people, but I can commiserate with the notion of, like, I feel much more comfortable right now just being me and whatever than if I was on someone else's panel and, like, I had to worry about screen time with them and all that stuff. I forgot where I was going with that, but yeah. Anyway, that was the first time I really did a deep dive into Nick, and like I said, it wasn't until then that I realized, like, oh wait, when he says the Jews, he doesn't mean the Jews. Got it.
Copy about Stalin's rule or revolutionary methods to get there. And guess what? We were able to actually answer. We were able to actually discuss it. How many retractions on your show? 0. Quite a few on mine. How many times did we actually get into discussions regarding where we disagree? And let me tell you where I disagree with him. I'm to the right of him on some issues. I'm definitely to the right of him economically. He's a pretty big sort of centralized economy guy, but we did it in good faith. And I presented him with his own questions. We got that out of the way. If you don't watch the whole interview, yeah, you can take 15 seconds. Did you get to any? That was my question. And yours was, well, you never asked about Stalin. He said, do you still think Hitler is fucking cool?
Yeah.
How'd that work out for you? What'd you learn?
That he does.
Well, I mean, world peace achieved. You mean he said the thing that he already said? Good job. I don't care about anything that's not America. I don't care about anything. America first.
And that's new? But he thinks they have nice outfits. They're Hugo Boss.
No, but okay, he didn't say that as his reason.
He said that many times.
Did you learn about Stalin, Pierce? Did you learn about
I learned this about Stalin.
disenfranchised?
As I said to you, I played a clip from a guy who literally lost close family members to Stalin and to Hitler.
Sure.
And Nick Fuentes' response was to mock him and then to unleash his Groypers on this guy who've been now mercilessly abusing.
Oh my God. We gotta let me run this back. Fix the audio a little bit.
Hitler.
Sure.
And Nick Fuentes' response was to mock him and then to unleash his Groypers on this guy who've been now mercilessly abusing and mocking him about the loss of his family members to Stalin and Hitler for the last 48 hours. Now, you might think that's acceptable or that somehow...
Acceptable? What do you mean? What's acceptable? Morally? Acceptable in your own personal opinion? Legally? What do you mean?
I didn't push that hard enough.
This is what legacy media is done. You can't compete. Look, guys like Nick, guys like Andrew Wilson on your show, they've come. I mean that you were at CNN, HLN for a very long time, and you're still following the same format. And so they're accusing someone.
And again, I think of all the people who have tried to bring legacy media to the internet, Piers has probably done the best job at it. But it's still legacy media.
someone young of being racist is a win. But with people who've grown up being accused of racism, of misogyny their whole life, they don't give a shit. And so you should get to the point where you can actually understand. Here's the one thing I would say that would help. Listen. You weren't listening to the guy, so you're not even able to lay out where you disagree, and your own audience.
Well, I don't think you heard that. I don't.
Yeah, and I would, if I was crowded there, I'd be like, I would ask any question that I know that Piers didn't ask in that interview, like an answer that I understood, and I would say, okay, what is his position on X, whatever it is? Oh wait, he did that. Shout out to Carl's Frosted Tips. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Said I did not see this coming. 2 years, one mouth for a reason.
You're not even able to lay out where you disagree, and your own audience.
Well, I don't think you heard that. I don't think you could have heard the whole interview either. Then I'm going to go and listen to yours
every
in full.
last second, pillar to post.
Okay, but for 2 hours I talked to the guy. I came with an open mind. I wanted to know whether it was.
Did you though? Did you though? Did you though? Did you though? Come on.
Performative, whether he did these things, whether he said things as a joke, whether if he did and it blew up, he regretted any of them, or whether he really means this stuff. And I learned a lot more about Nick Fuentes in the 2 hours than I knew before. You probably knew it all already because you've interviewed him before. I haven't. It's the first time I've
never interviewed him before. This was my first time I've ever spoken with him or interacted with him whatsoever. I did do my research, and I already knew what his stance was on Solon. I already knew how he clarified it. I already knew his stance.
What's happening here? Why do we have to lose words that you guys understand? We don't know what you understand.
What?
I don't think losing words is an issue. You've got plenty there.
On racism. And here's what I would say. If I'm being as accurate as I can be, right, for the general populace, I think most people, if they listen to Nick Fuentes, his views on race and crime, they'd say, okay, someone like that has a case. Certainly any man under the age of 25. I think a lot of people would broad strokes categorize it as anti-Semitic. We were able to get into that. I was able to communicate that I thought Islamic immigration is a greater threat than global Jewry. And guess what? He disagreed, but we understood each other. You don't de-radicalize people by marginalizing everyone who actually makes good points, by spending 6 follow-up questions on a racist
You know what? Okay,
accusing them of not getting laid and calling them twerps.
Steven,
yeah, and we can keep things in perspective. Morgan Stanford saying Nick is an authoritarian because that works great. I'm not saying that we need to jump on the Groyper train. What I'm saying is that the understanding that I personally had of Nick Fuentes and the Groypers as of before the Tucker interview was very, very different than the way that he seems to represent his ideas after that, as someone who does not watch his show. Doesn't mean, I'm not, point being, I'm not like, oh, Nick is great now. I'm just saying, oh, okay, I understand where Nick is coming from a little bit better. Unlike Piers.
Well, I'll concede, like I did with the initial reaction that you did. I will concede. I didn't get him. I mean, other than him saying, "I believe now," actually, in a satirical way. In other words,
Andrew, what are you? I'm sorry. I don't know what you're talking about. Who cares about which person? Who's we? Only care about what's going on. And why not fix people? Which people? We can fix what's going on. What are you saying, brother? I'm willing to. I'm here. I'm reading. I'm trying to understand. Slow down. What are we talking about?
Saying, I believe now, actually, in a satirical way. In other words, I don't think he really meant it. But when he said he did think at least 6 million Jews died in the Holocaust, he did it in a way that others, like Glenn Greenwald, have told me he didn't mean it. Whatever.
Hey, Carl's Frosted Tips with the 199. Thank you. So very, very much. And of course, a treat for the Overlord. Thank you. So very, very much, sir. Very much appreciated. We also got our boy Section 230 in the building. Welcome to the party. Andrew. Who's Andrew? Who's Andrew? We also got Lil Toes. Welcome. Now, this is the type of stream I'm walking on. Here you go. Let's get back into it.
He did it in a way that others, like Glenn Greenwald, have told me he didn't mean it. Whatever. It's up to him. It's down to him. I don't think I got anywhere with Nick Fuentes. I don't think I got anywhere to him changing.
No, really?
mind about anything. I certainly didn't get anywhere in stopping him unleashing his Groyper hounds on me or my family, whatever. I don't care. I've had far worse, and it's fine. If you're in the media jungle long enough, you get these pile-ons occasionally, and it's just better just to ride them out with a smile on your face. It's whatever. But I didn't get anywhere with it. So in a way, I am listening to you because I'm curious how you do get anywhere with somebody like that.
And so I think the fact that he being Piers is saying, okay, I failed that, but still not able to listen to what Milo said, what Crowder is saying about this stuff, and internalize it, means that he's just stuck. He's just a boomer who will always, always, always be in the position of I know better because I've lived life and all that kind of bullshit. No more facts, no more new opinions coming from Piers Morgan.
I'm curious how you do get anywhere with somebody like that when his whole shtick is really just on doubling, trebling, quadrupling down, and he says things which I genuinely do find really offensive. When he talks about women in the way that he does, it is really offensive.
Well, let me answer. Here's how you get somewhere, by not playing gotcha. So, for example, when you start off with, if you've done the
don't know who Gypsy Crusader is, but hit me up.
Research, you know, is facetious. Same thing that Jillian Michaels did. Do you think all women need to be raped? No, he was citing, by the way, study after study that you can replicate that 62%
Who's Andre?
of women
he said
have
that to
some
me.
form of
He
a
said
rape
that to me.
fantasy. Yes, so sexually dominant. But when you start off with that, guess what? Young people go, okay, all right, same old, same old. You
I didn't
could have
start
asked
off
him,
with
hey,
that.
what are your views on women?
I started off with this thing that all women are annoying and they all get old and fat and ugly.
Yup.
What part of that do you disagree with?
All of it.
You don't think that women get ugly as they get older? What? What are we talking about?
What part of that do you disagree with?
All of it.
You don't think the women get fatter and more attractive? Men do too, by the way.
I think men
You and I are both getting fatter and uglier. And
Okay.
I think that a lot of women, particularly if you go on TikTok and you see generationally, I think they're annoying. And I think that is a symptom of a serious problem, which is deeply rooted feminism, which, by the way, is the same source problem for LGBTQAI and the reason that you have biological men winning Olympic medals, right? You see that as a problem. You need to get to where you diverge or what the root of the problem is. And
He's not attacking Piers. So now I'm understanding where you're coming from. The purpose is everybody agrees, including Piers, that the Piers Morgan and Nick Fuentes interview did not go well. So he is invited Milo and now Crowder specifically to ask him to critique what happened. That's what he's there for. It's not an attack. It's two mutuals saying, hey, you could have done this better. And he's saying, yeah, I agree. I could have done that better. Oh, okay. Yeah, we see the mansplaining and we know where this is coming from.
that as a problem, you need to get to where you diverge or what the root of the problem is. And here's the thing, you're never going to get there if you just discount young people who are facing different problems. And I understand, I don't think they're right on all of it, but I understand it because I was listening. I think you could have listened to him better. If your goal is the pursuit of truth.
It's almost like you and Crowder are saying exactly the same thing. So are you attacking Piers? Or is nobody attacking anyone?
I think you could have listened to him better. If your goal is the pursuit of truth, and actually, and I would imagine your goal, if you think his views are abhorrent, by the way, and I think some of them are. So if your goal is to peel some of those people off, give him the floor to explain context so that you can contrast it. But it ended up getting back to gotcha.
Okay, but final question. Which of his views do you find abhorrent then?
Well, when he talks about, for example, I would say wrong. I would say wrong, the idea of global Jewry, and I told him that. The idea that massive third world immigration, particularly from Islamic countries, that largely rests at the feet of the Jews. I think it rests at the feet of these Islamic nations, of these third world nations that I would call crap holes, and that's considered a more offensive view. I think it's a problem, for example, when you ask him if he's a racist, he's going to answer yes. He's going to answer yes, but he actually answered, by the way, everyone's racist. And then he actually offered a qualifier. And through that, you're racist because you live in a largely white area. By the way, there's nothing wrong with that. You can't just ignore the points and go back to a soundbite. That's how a guy like Nick Fuentes, that's how he thrives. And by the way, people in the comment section, your own comment section.
That's not me. What kind of show is this? With all the, we're in official news and you're getting delays with your guests. There's people talking in the background. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
You can't just ignore the points and go back to a soundbite. That's how a guy like Nick Fuentes.
What is that? That's not me. That's the video.
That's how he thrives. And by the way, people in the comment section, your own comment section, I get that some of them are trolling. Go easy, guys. On Piers, it's Christmas. I think you were trying to do a good job. What I'm telling you, Piers, is that it's not the way to approach a different generation of people who come up in a blood sport debate like they did on Twitch.
Yep. And now already, Piers is like, yeah, I get it. All right. You think about it. You don't get it. You don't get it. That's the whole problem. You could have done such an amazing job. At either showing a lot of people that, hey, Nick Fuentes isn't as bad as he seems, or, hey, Nick Fuentes really is as bad as he seems. But you did neither of those things. He just doesn't get it.
Stupid.
A different generation of people who come up in a blood sport debate like they did on Twitch. It's going to actually give them a win.
Yeah, I think I buy into the argument they couldn't give a shit, actually. And that's...
Okay, bro. Yep, whatever you say. Fucking boomers.
That's one of the more depressing aspects of it.
Easier to dismiss them.
But if I'm worried about their comments, I would turn the comments off, and they're wide open. So bring your worst, you little groypers. Stephen Crowder, Merry Christmas to you. Always good to have you on. And I enjoy our conversations about these things.
Guys, remember, wait, what? You're not on the... What? Without turning into a short, what are you talking about?
I get stuff out.
Oh, well, this is done. So, the last thing that I wanted to show you guys was similar, not the same, but I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brad Palumbo. This is live and coming right to you. We got... Oh, are you on vertical? We got Morty, the Overlord, and I am your host, Lutch, a.k.a. TheIndianJesus, here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. Welcome. Riptomax, I'm gonna call you Rip. Welcome. Piers is definitely a cuck. I can see that, but that might be the British. Let's see. What, you don't like Brad? I mean, I think he's kind of middle of the road and take it or leave it, but it's what he's covering that is important.
I don't think that
shout out to Brett Cooper. Oh, Brett Cooper. Now, when she was with the Daily Wire, not because of any like Daily Wire thing. Like I have no love lost for the Daily Wire, but when she was on doing the comment section, I would watch, well, I wouldn't necessarily watch every video, but I would click on every single one. And, sometimes it'd be like, all right, I don't really care about this. But for the most part, I was like, oh, this is good. And she ain't bad to look at. But then when she started her own channel, then she started doing this format that I don't really like. A lot of people do this where they have like 3 or 4 stories and they do like a 30-ish minute video and they jump from point to or story to story. And because of the fact that you can only have one title and one thumbnail, then I feel like, am I really going to buy into 30 minutes of this if I don't even know what you're talking about? No. But she was asked on NPR about Nick Fuentes, and I think it was rather interesting. So let's take a look.
I don't think that I need to sit here and condemn anyone either way. There are things that Nick says that I don't agree with. There are things that Ted Cruz says that I don't agree with. I'm not going to sit here and condemn either of them.
You should actually condemn him. We're going to talk about a really interesting interview between the right-wing YouTube star, Brett Cooper, and an NPR host. Yes, the times are a-changing. Just a few years ago, it would have been almost unthinkable that they would bring someone like Brett Cooper onto NPR for an extended interview, but I'm glad that's happening. I'm glad the media apparatus is kind of expanding the tent and trying to engage in the popularity of discourse and ideas and people who have emerged, because obviously what they were doing before, where they tried to have this narrow viewpoint and really gatekeep mainstream right-wing perspectives out, did not work. And people flocked to alternative sources, hence why people like Brett Cooper became so popular in the first place. But she had an interview.
And that's back to the notion of Nick being on CNN. That's not what I am talking about when I'm discussing him actually spreading his ideas. I'm talking about, becoming the next Alex Jones. Alex Jones is not welcome on CNN. But people definitely take him seriously.
Sources, hence why people like Brett Cooper became so popular in the first place. But she had an interview with NPR, and they discussed the rise of Nick Fuentes, the alt-right superstar who, and I don't know if this is true, I didn't bother to check, but somebody told me on one of the streams he did recently, he called me AIDS face, which...
AIDS face, bro. AIDS face. Yikes. Yikes. That's a good one. That's a good one. Santa said I'll have my own show soon. Well, dilly-dilly to that, brother. I will definitely tune in. Definitely gotta let me know. Brett Cooper, Candace Owens, what? What are we talking about? Yeah. Boom! Roasted! Brian figures by Tony Hatz. He literally couldn't be honest if he... Who's Tony Hatz? All right. Well, I mean, let's just get to the fucking... It's not about him. I just stopped it because that was a fucking amazing joke.
But somebody told me on one of the streams he did recently, he called me AIDS face, which I don't really understand what that's supposed to mean.
Because you're gay, bro. And you look it.
Or take particular interest in his opinion of me. But anyways, they discussed this, and I like Brett. I like her both personally and professionally, but I don't entirely agree with what she had to say here. So we're going to take a look at it and discuss. And let's just roll the clip.
As someone who draws a big audience yourself, why do you think it is that Nick Fuentes has a following with the kinds of things that he says continuously about Jews?
You know, number one, because so many people have said not to listen to him. And they've said that, you know, he is the equivalent of the Antichrist. And again, when you point at something, you are directing attention to it. And secondly, because he's become a meme, he is huge on social media. People are...
So I want to pause on this for a moment because I sort of agree and disagree with this first part of what Brett said, where she says that, oh, well, part of the reason that Nick Fuentes has risen is because so many people insisted, don't listen to him, don't watch him. I don't know that it's quite that. I think actually it's more so that they so explicitly censored him, right? He was banned from YouTube. He was banned from Twitter.
Banking.
He was banned from all these platforms, and everyone refused to have him on shows ever, discuss things with him, even in an adversarial way, that it gave him this kind of forbidden fruit quality where people...
I mean, AIDS face. Brad, I like your work. That is so fucking funny.
Felt like they were edgy and subversive if they went and watched his streams or if they watched his clips because, oh, I'm not supposed to watch him. That's more it. It's not that people condemned him or said, don't listen to him. It's that they literally censored him, and that backfired, I think, pretty enormously. Look at...
Well, why do you think that is? Why do you think that is, Liberty?
How big he is now, because you can't do that. And then you're also allowing his ideas to fester unchallenged in these like niche, dark under corners of the internet rather than actually in the mainstream, in the spotlight where people would engage with them and to kind of take them apart, because a lot of it's pretty vacuous and empty. But
wait, so okay, so there's a but coming, because he said that he disagrees with her, and then he's saying like, yeah, sunlight is the best disinfectant, but let's hear the AIDS but.
To me, it's more the censorship. It's not that people distance themselves from his ideas or his beliefs or encourage people not to listen to the hate he was spewing. It's that they took such a heavy hand and actually censored him. So it's a little, I would draw a little bit of a distinction there. But let's keep going. Finally, a win for sanity in the trans debate.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is...
No. We're good.
Fix for Olympia, gender news, and use these same accessible and
its entirety.
critical thinking skills sharp.
Social media. People are not watching his show in its entirety. We are seeing clips of him. They're seeing the jokes that he made. I saw a thread on X recently.
And we have to understand that's not a bad thing. We don't have the capacity, especially if you have a full-time job. There's no way to be on top of every single person's comment about this and that. Did you watch the whole thing of this? And like, there's not enough hours in the day. There's not enough hours in the day. And so the notion of, well, people only know Nick from clips. It's like, well, yeah, because people have chosen when they're going to watch something long form, someone other than Nick. The people who they watch in long form definitely found them somehow, right? They didn't just randomly pick a video, a 3-hour video, I mean, maybe they did, but most people probably saw a clip and then followed for longer form content. Point being, if Nick wants the right kind of people, meaning the people who can actually spread this message effectively, to be following his show, then he needs to have the show cater to those people. And I don't think he is.
Clips of him, they're seeing the jokes that he made. I saw a thread on X recently, and it was a person who is Jewish, I actually believe lives in Israel, is a Zionist. And
it's almost like some of us have to care about it because it's our job and rent and bills.
He said, I sat down and I watched a Nick Fuentes stream in its entirety. And he was like, I am so embarrassed to say that I laughed. He's a good communicator. He's funny. And I obviously disagree with a lot of the things that he says, and it goes against my, my religion and my beliefs as a Zionist, whatever it is. But he said, but I kind of got it because he's funny.
I just want to pause on this that I
what did I say earlier? What did I say earlier about the too soon joke? That's fucking funny. You don't need to accept that, too soon as a meme is funny because it's a long time ago. That doesn't mean that you accept any claims about what it did or did not happen in the fucking Holocaust.
Kind of got it because he's funny.
I just want to pause on this that I actually think this part is true. This part I agree with. We're about to get to the part where I do disagree with Brett. But he is hilarious. Even on his Piers Morgan interview, when Piers was pressing him on the Holocaust, because he's a Holocaust denier and he makes fun of the whole thing.
Spit it out, bro. Jesus.
Piers is like, why would you think it's okay to joke about the Holocaust? Which I don't even agree with that framing, because I think anything is fair game for comedy. The problem is that Nick's not joking. He actually loves Hitler, right? But Piers asked him the question of, that's not funny, like that's offensive, that you can't joke about that, which I disagree with that framing from Piers. I think it's okay to joke about the Holocaust. It's just not okay to, like it is to joke about anything. It's just not okay to actually harbor sympathies for Hitler or hatred for Jews, which to me is pretty clear that Nick Fuentes does. But anyway, Nick had a response to that where he says, oh, why? Too soon? And then pauses. That's hilarious. I laughed out loud. And I mean, totally
across the board, that is fucking funny.
It's about everything Nick stands for. And I criticized him in that interview, even. I think he got exposed in some ways by Piers. But that is hilarious. He absolutely is a talented communicator. And you can acknowledge that about somebody while also condemning what they stand for. When he says that he loves Hitler, when he says most black people should be imprisoned, when he says women should be second-class citizens, stripped of equal participation in society, those are things I object to. But it doesn't help if you act like, oh, I don't understand at all why anyone would find him funny or entertaining. Obviously, I do. But the problem is there has to be a line for basic decency. And a lot...
Hold on. What did you say? I'm actually thinking, Burns, so I don't understand why people care about who's talking to who or how many views they have. I just meant that I don't know how important it is that kids are watching Nick. We were watching the Young Turks. Well, I mean, that's very important. That's very important. Do you not remember the TYT shooter? And all of the shooters since probably have at least some familiarity with the Young Turks? That's a very, very scary framing, if that's the way that you're putting it.
Obviously, I do. But the problem is there has to be a line for basic decency. And a lot of people have, I guess, decided that line doesn't matter just because he's entertaining. Or maybe because people cried wolf for so long and said everything is racist, sexist, homophobic, you can't joke about that, how dare you, blah, 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 that now somebody just totally doesn't give an F and people are immune to it and they find it refreshing. I think it's all part of a pendulum swing, but the pendulum is swinging. We were at peak woke and now we're at way too far on the opposite end of the extreme if somebody like Nick Fuentes is appealing to people at large scale. And here, we're going to get...
So the fact that he says that tells me that he is equally as unfamiliar with Nick's content as I am. Because it's just not it's not like violence coded. It's extreme, sure. But comparing that to what we've seen from the left, it's just not the same. It's just mean words.
That's the part where I truly did disagree with what Brett had to say because she seemed unwilling to condemn Fuentes. So let's listen.
How dare she? How dare she? You must condemn! You must condemn! You must condemn!
Because she seemed unwilling to condemn Fuentes. So let's listen.
And so I think a lot of people are not actually watching his show in its entirety, but they're consuming his memes and the TikToks that people make of him. And that is incredibly, incredibly powerful when it comes to my generation, because if you can get social media, if you can bring people in through comedy and relatability, that will speak to them. And I think that's the part that a lot of conservatives have not been able to keep up with.
And when Ted Cruz says, this senator who had this exchange with you says, now is...
So we'll drop into that. But like we said, if people are making out to be like Nick Slowly, the next H-Man, I don't see it. I don't see it either. But the point is that we don't need the next H-Man in order for society to be really bad. A la the Young Turks. That's the point.
And when Ted Cruz says, this senator who had this exchange with you says, now is a time for choosing. Either you call out this guy or you're a coward and you're complicit. Is he right at all?
I think that as Americans, you should be allowed to listen to whoever you want to listen to. I don't think that I need to sit here and condemn anyone either way. There are things that Nick says that I don't agree with. There are things that Ted Cruz says that I don't agree with. I'm not going to sit here and condemn either of them. I don't know if either.
Dilly to Brett. What is this? That's some legacy media bullshit. Will you condemn this person you have nothing to do with? What? What does it even mean? What exactly? How do I do that? Tell me how I condemn. Do I say the words? Do I have to feel a thing? Do I got to do a dance? Like, what are we talking about?
There are things that Ted Cruz says that I don't agree with. I'm not going to sit here and condemn either of them. I don't know if either of them actually like me. Nick has said that he does not like me at certain times and then he loves me. I was in a movie with Ted Cruz and we have had conversations and then he calls me an angry woman on X. Like, I don't take it personally. I'm not concerned. I'm not going to condemn anyone. And I don't.
She's so bubbly and flowery. Who said she's an angry woman?
Think that we should be.
Well, obviously Ted Cruz, but you know what I mean? Why?
Sitting here telling people what they need to believe or who they need to condemn. We should be focused on positive solutions, on driving a positive future for Gen Z. We're about to be the hugest, most significant voting bloc, and you need to get Gen Z and hold on and provide solutions for them.
So I'm sorry, like I said,
based. So I'm sure I'm going to disagree with Brad here, but fucking based. Well, Brett is amazing. No one until they're in power, but. As we were just saying, I don't think that is something that we have to pay attention to. But hey, you know, if I was Jewish in 1930s fucking Germany, I would definitely give a shit what they think. All right, so let's see what kind of cope we're gonna get.
And you need to get Gen Z and hold on and provide solutions for them.
So I'm sorry, like I said, I do like Brett. There's no personal animus towards her at all with this, but this is a cop out. This is you wanting to maintain maybe a portion of your audience that also likes Nick, just saying, oh, well, I don't think I need to tell people who to listen to, or I don't need to condemn people. Well, we're talking about somebody who's openly hateful towards Jewish people. We're talking about somebody who's openly racist against Black people, who is absolutely vile in his hatred toward gay people, who genuinely thinks that women should be second-class citizens and repressed in our society.
That's what it is. It's the gay thing. Well, he doesn't like me, so he can't be right about anything. He needs to be condemned. I don't know if you can tell, but I am, in fact, a brown man. He wants a white nationalist country. But that doesn't mean that he can't be right about things. We don't have to condemn the whole of the person just because they have some silly ideas. This is what the wokies do.
And not even allowed to vote. Despite paying taxes, despite whatever role they're playing, they don't get a say in how society is run. And to shut up, in his view, unfortunately, and I would totally disagree, he would certainly apply to Brett Cooper, who I'm sure he thinks should be back in the kitchen rather than running a YouTube empire. You should actually condemn him. And I don't really buy this argument that it's not for you to tell people who they should listen to or to condemn people. Because first of all, there's a difference between that and saying that they shouldn't be allowed to listen to him or that he should be censored. Surely, yeah, you don't have to say that. We're all part of the free speech crowd, right? But
apparently not, because you want her to bend the knee and kiss the ring of saying, no, he is so bad, he is irredeemable, he must be stricken down. And that brings me back to what do you mean then? So if you're not saying, I don't want people to listen to this, if you're not saying, I want this person to be taken off the air, what is it that you're saying? I personally think that it's bad when she has already articulated more than I condemn what she actually thinks. It's a woke tool of conformity. Do the thing that I say you must do.
Yes, you can draw a moral judgment and condemn an evil person. You do it all the time. as a political commentator or YouTuber. You can go on Brett's, and I watch her videos. Like I said, I like a lot of her content. She condemns people all the time. She just did a whole episode condemning the Nashville Democrat.
Oh, honey sweet. Can we give a dilly to whoever, Andrew living in 2015? No, it'd be more like 2010. Oh, man. Time traveler over here. Time traveler over here. Remember? Back in 2010, when woke actually kind of meant something? And then
she condemns people all the time. She just did a whole episode condemning the Nashville Democrat running in Tennessee. She's done on this woke.
Okay, but then that. Oh, Brad. Oh, what are you doing, brother? So, like, yes, I will condemn Destiny. Because even though I do think he has some opinions on some things that I do agree with, most of them I don't, and he's a horrible person. That is not the same thing as Nick Fuentes having radical ideas that you don't agree with. This is, yeah, right. I mean, come on, AIDS Face. What are we doing? Oh, you can read. He can read, guys. Yay!
Episode condemning the Nashville Democrat running in Tennessee. She's done on this woke celebrity is giving terrible advice. Don't listen to them all the time.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Projection! Hey, Andrew, how many genders are there? What is a woman? Yeah, I don't like gays. That's why I'm specifically bringing up a gay guy to give his opinion. I thought platforming was a whole thing with you guys.
Woke celebrity is giving terrible advice. Don't listen to them all the time. The job of a political commentator is to denounce people saying bad things. And
what?
Oh, hell no.
Let me just make sure he said that. Actually, he said that.
Political terrible advice. Don't listen to them all the time. The job of a political commentator is to denounce people saying bad things.
To denounce people saying bad things, or to denounce the bad things that people are saying?
Stupid.
There's a big difference between condemning someone and condemning what someone says. Oh, man. Oh, no, honey, sweetie baby. Oh, no. Oh, just answer it. Who the fuck would ask what a woman is? My kids know that. Okay, so then answer it. What is a woman? You guys just try to harass person. I'm asking you for knowledge. I'm specifically asking you for a scientific fact. What is a woman? Oh, yeah. You're right. I missed it. Projection. Bottoms up. Should I read it like this is how how I hear it in my head. Well, you guys just try to harass the person, not the actual knowledge. And a point you guys will never understand what we're talking about. The true intentions. Your intentions are nothing but horrible. You think you're somehow better than everyone else, but yet you say so yourself. You don't know what they're talking about. So I guess you don't. I guess you. Periods are your friend, honey, sweetie baby. Hey, he finally got there. Oh, my goodness. All right. So my point is to try to establish, are you retarded or not? So you're not retarded on the fact of what a woman is. Let's see if you're retarded on the fact of how many genders there are. How many, Andrew? How many genders are there?
Political commentator is to denounce people saying bad things and tell your audience who and what they can trust and what they can't. We do that.
Shout out to Antonia. We kind of got off the rails a little bit, but we were talking about their reactions to Nick Fuentes being on Piers Morgan and how Milo Yiannopoulos and Steven Crowder were saying, hey, I disagree with Nick a lot, but the way that you attacked it was boomer as fuck. And then little bit of a side quest here. We're also talking about how Brett Cooper would not condemn him. And this guy, Brad Palumbo, who is supposedly on the right, is saying, how dare she? The job of a political commentator is to denounce other people.
Well, hell no.
I'm good. Indeed, you do. Welcome to the party again, guys. If you are new, please do hit that subscribe. Hey, there we go. Thank you so very, very much. I am live every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern, and sometimes whenever I feel like it. So don't just subscribe, hit that bell, because you know YouTube sucks with those notifications, and you never want to miss an Indian Jesus live party ever again.
All the time. So to suddenly pretend like we can't do that because Nick Fuentes is being discussed doesn't make sense. It just doesn't even make sense at face value, which is
okay. So just prove me wrong and answer the question.
Why I have to come back.
Hey, shout out to Avery. Welcome to the party. We're trying to figure out if Andrew knows how many genders there are. This is divided. No, again, you're the one that's divided. I'm trying to give an opinion on a basic, event that happened. Now you're coming in here saying that I'm hating when I'm merely, re-articulating what happened so that everybody has an understanding and we're all on the same page. You want to divide. I want to unite. There you go. Yeah, that's what we're here for, right? Well, who wants to sit in the chat and be like, what the fuck is going on here? Especially when the video's not on the screen, right? I love hanging out with you guys. Like this is for you. This is for you. This is for us to hang out. All right, let's dive back into what Brad Palumbo is saying about why Brett Cooper is so bad because she's not condemn Nick Fuentes.
Suddenly pretend like we can't do that because Nick Fuentes
nope. She didn't say she can't. She said she won't.
Is being discussed doesn't make sense. It just doesn't even make sense at face value, which is why I have to.
No. It does make sense. She said that she has disagreements with Ted Cruz and she has disagreements with Nick Fuentes, but she's not going to condemn either of them because they are people that have somewhat respect. The other people that you mentioned have no respect from Brett. So nobody said that you can't condemn people. Brett just said, no, I'm not going to condemn Nick Fuentes. Sorry.
Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't even make sense at face value, which is why I have to come back to the idea that it is, unfortunately, something of a cop-out. It is wanting to avoid ruffling the feathers of the millions of people who maybe like Nick Fuentes, many of whom could be potential viewers or an audience for yourself, but it doesn't demonstrate the kind of integrity or principled stand that you should want to see from a political commentator. That, of course, you rarely do, but that doesn't change the fact that you'd want to see that. And
I disagree with you, Santa. I disagree with you. I don't think she is afraid of conflict, number one. I mean, women generally might be, but Brett is, that was a based, like, if she didn't want the conflict, then she would have capitulated. She would be like, yeah, I guess, I guess I condemn him or something like that. But she was like, no, you want me to bend the knee and conform to what you say is okay. And I'm not willing to do that. That's conflict. Pretty based. And yes, guys, we did just pass the 2-hour mark. We're coming up on 2.5 hours. If you would like to keep the party raging, where is it? How to do it.
Brett is somebody who has in the past described herself as more libertarian leaning. We have some kind of mutual friends and thoughts and backgrounds in that space.
True.
And Nick Fuentes' vision for the world couldn't be more at odds with that. Couldn't be more at odds with individual liberty, with free markets, with limited government. He is a far-right extremist, collectivist, white nationalist, fascist. I know those are all buzzwords. I know they've all been overused like crazy, but they actually apply to him and the things he believes.
So how many genders are there?
These are genuinely scary, taken at face value. And if you can't draw...
Yeah, that's because he's a Catholic and they are supposed to wait for marriage.
Line in the sand. And you can't condemn him. And you can't separate yourself from him. I think that is really disappointing. And it's not going to age well. I know it feels like that everyone is, Team Fuentes lately. We are in a pendulum swing. Same thing with a lot of things going on in our politics.
Okay, but then Brad, why do you think that is? Why do you think he's not new? He's not new to the scene. Nick is not, he's been around for a fucking minute. So the question really is, why is it that people are starting to warm up to him? Is it because people like Tucker and Crowder have, softened the message so that maybe people actually do care what he thinks. All right, so damn, I didn't. Let's see how many people. Put a 1 in the chat if you know what's good with the panelverse, because we got some stuff, but I'll save that. We'll keep this running. So here, what I wanted to do here was jump back into to Nick on Piers.
You've grown increasingly.
Because we finished all of that. So let's dive back in. All right, you know what? All right, fuck it. This is the best side quest that you'd never expected. If you don't know, I'll give you the quick rundown. I'm sure you guys know Andrew Wilson, The Crucible, all of that stuff. He and his crew were debating on the Raging Tomato channel all the time. Rob Noor is part of that, and there was some beef, and this was like months ago, and they had a falling out, and then her channel essentially died, and just today, 2 days ago, rather, she put this out, thinking that it was a good idea, that it would be fun, that it wouldn't be a complete embarrassment for her. I apologize if you don't know who the Raging Tomato is, because you will not ever be able to get how cringe this actually is. But just know she's a moderator who holds debates and panels and not much else.
It was the night before Christmas when all through the house, not a creature was stirring, except for this dude. We don't know what he was staring at.
That's supposed to be Andrew Wilson.
But he kept looking hard. Ugh. But just next door, there was a party going on, a Panelverse Christmas out on the lawn. Wait, what's that noise? He said. So he ran next door, leaving his wife in bed. I'll show them, he thought. The power of the cuckable. This is my shot.
So again, cuckable being a play on The Crucible. This is her best.
He ran so fast.
The Panelverse!
Now visions of the Panelverse danced in his head. Lipstick, the brown nose reindeer.
Like, what are we doing? And of course, the Panelverse, we got Trippy, and I don't even know who the rest of the people are supposed to be, but oh, they're laughing, they're having such a good time.
Wonderful troll of the year.
Bro, when I found out that she was almost 60, I'll give her credit. I was surprised. She's fucking almost 60, bro. God damn.
I'm not Indian. I'm not Indian. Last Christmas.
And look how she fucking animates herself. Honey, honey, oh honey, sweetie baby. This is not cheap or easy. But like this was you maybe 30 years ago. And again, you can see very clearly using the Crucible style, but it says the cuckable.
I gave you debates the very next day. You threw them away.
They threw it away.
Save me from tears.
Like, I'm totally going to give them to someone better. Duh.
Don't want no sense for Christmas.
Who's that supposed to be? No, bro. This is some inside shit. If you don't know, then just stick around for the ride. I got something else after this, but this is just a detour.
like joy to the world, cause the Lord, he has come.
What is she even trying to say?
Robbie the fat man, he got angry at the trolls, and he got in a fight almost every night, and the panelists made fun of his nose.
He thinks this is my video. He thinks I did this. Oh, man. You are absolutely the dumbest person that's ever been in my comments. Oh, yeah, I saw that.
In the name of
The Panelverse.
Cast you out.
This is the Panelverse with the Raging Tomato. This is their most recent shot at the Crucible, or as they call it, the Cuckable. It's supposed to be.
Let it flow.
This is in her mind.
And then he awoke.
Like,
What a
oh,
wild
based,
dream.
I got him.
The power of the Panelverse is here, so it seems. So he got himself up and walked back to the door. Sadness he felt with his heart on the floor.
I'll have a blue Christmas without you. I'll have
1 minute.
a blue Christmas without you.
What a weirdo he was. Quite a strange little guy. Now we know what he was staring at. Maybe he's bi.
And this is all there. Okay, so we've got the guy who's the VTuber. That's supposed to be fucking Andrew. What else we got? We got Wick TV, Angry Man. Mouth Breather is supposed to be Rob. Of course, all of the Kinetic Hell looks great. Thumpin' Weevil. I love you, Thumpin' Weevil, but let's call it a buck. But was there anything else? Oh, the Powder Dusty, the fucking Pope. Jesus Christ. And Radical Coder. Still a little fucking loser. Oh man. So then, let's take a look at the comments. What do you think the comments look like for this? Top comment. A channel run by a broken mind. Repealing the 19th seems more justifiable every year. This is peak 16-year-old jealous ex-girlfriend behavior. Sarah's still acting like the Crucible's crazy ex. He's just not into you, hon. This is probably the most immature I've ever seen a lady in her 50s do. Hey Siri, what does the term sour grapes mean? Here to read the comments, Roasting Tomatoes. Shout out to John Castle. Oh, he got a reply. John said, this crash out is amazing. Could have just moved on, but no. Now people will just remember her for this insane months-long self-destruction. Yep. And what did she say? Good?
What?
Oh, please tell me you saw that, Colby. Please tell me you saw that. Welcome. And as somebody... Oh, that's not what I'm going to do. As somebody said before, if that wasn't bad enough, well, we've got suggestive material there, but what in the flying fuck is this? What are we doing? What are we doing? Nothing. She's just fucking throwing shots. They had their beef like what, a month, 2 months ago? Insane. All right, so let's jump back. What time is it? Okay, so we got a couple minutes. Let's go back into boy Nick and Piers. There was one part that I wanted to see, but guys, she's cashing out and crashing out. Signature said Sarah backstab Rob and help people troll and try to ruin his stream, so Crucible cut her out of their business partnership. That's a long and short of it. Yeah, so we are at the 2.5 hour mark. So if you want to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
But you've grown increasingly disillusioned, I think it'd be fair to say. Let's play a recent clip from you about Trump.
We played this game in the first term. We're 10 years in. And you still have these people, I hate to say it, but they're just like in denial. And they're like, okay, everybody, let's all go on Twitter and let's tell Trump, don't screw over your voters. Okay. Hey, Trump, don't hire John Ratcliffe in the CIA. Like, what are we doing? We lost. It's over. The time to make demands was during the election when he needed the votes. He's a lame duck president. He doesn't need anything from us. He's not even on Twitter. He's on Truth Social. So what are you talking about? We're going to all rally and tell him, don't hire yet another neocon?
Now, over the weekend, you posted this on X. You said performative cruelty is the perfect phrase to characterize the Trump admin and the mood of the MAGA movement. In order to compensate for his compromises and failures, Trump has to fall back on mean-spiritedness to appeal to the basest instincts of its followers. It's really sad. I mean, do you think you're the best person, Nick Fuentes, to lecture people about performative cruelty?
Why? Are you accusing me of being cruel? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
I was going to say no. I'm accusing you of being performative.
Why? Are you accusing me of being cruel? Is that what that is?
Yeah.
How am I cruel?
You're cruel about black people. You're cruel about women. I mean, you're cruel about a lot of people. And you're very performative.
Okay. I don't think I'm performative. If anything, everyone else is performative. I'm authentic. You know, whatever you want to say about me.
Come on, Nick. Come on, Nick. You are fucking performative as shit. You might have some good answers on things, but you're performative as fuck. God damn it, I keep doing that.
If anything, everyone else is performative. I'm authentic. You know, whatever you want to say about me, it's real. It's from the gut. But yes, I do think it's performative. And what I mean by that is, you know, when they're doing the deportations, they know the deportations are not where the base wants them to be. They deported, the figures are disputed, but from my data, it's 300,000 in the year, which is not a massive deportation. They know the base is unhappy with that. So what do? The deportations that they are carrying out, they do a big spectacle and they arrest everybody and they film it and they put a hype at it. And there's a meanness in there. They played that song, I think from Sabrina Carpenter or something.
Spawnkeeper, aka Avery, said he makes some valid points, but then pivots to extreme viewpoints. It's a textbook example of indoctrination. And that's exactly why I am so curious to understand what is the bedrock of what he actually believes. Is the notion of, oh, well, when we say Jewry, we don't actually mean every single Jewish person. We just mean in the same way we talk about black fatigue. We don't mean every single black person. I can buy that. I can buy that that's what you believe, but you have to be consistent with that. And I haven't seen that consistency. So, yeah. Me neither.
Thing, and they make it a joke, they make it glib, and they do that because they're not delivering on the promise, so they compensate by doing it meaner, edgier, more mean-spirited, so that the base will overlook the fact that it's not happening. And I think that's by definition performative cruelty. You can call me a hypocrite, but it's definitely true about what they're doing in the administration.
You went to see Trump at Mar-a-Lago with
again,
Ye.
like that pisses me off too. I get this is the style of Piers' show, but like he just made a really strong point. Can we acknowledge that a strong point was made, especially if you're going to go so hard on the things that you disagree with? How about when he makes a solid point, you're like, oh, interesting, that's a solid point.
For dinner, what was that like?
It was very interesting. They're my two heroes. Ye is my hero. Trump is my hero. Even though he's very disappointing, I still have a personal hero of mine, and he's a remarkable person. It was a great conversation. We got along pretty well. He liked me. I liked him. It was a love fest.
I mean, he got attacked afterwards for supping with the white supremacist devil. I mean, do you accept you are a white supremacist?
No, absolutely not.
You don't think white people are superior to black people?
No, I'm a Christian, so I believe everybody is equal before God.
Including women?
Yes.
So you give women equal rights then?
No.
Great.
No.
Great. Okay. So you just talked a lot of bullshit, didn't you?
No. Why are you?
So again, the way that Crowder would say about this specific moment, I'm obviously speaking for him, but it'd be like, okay, well, see, you don't understand how those things can exist at the same time. So instead of just like, oh, it's bullshit, ask him, how do you square? You're saying you're a Christian, and so you respect all people. But you just told me women are fat and ugly and black people are doing this. How do you square that circle? That is the type of question that you will learn saying something instead of just, putting out what you already believe. Why is he here?
So he just talked a lot of bullshit, didn't he?
No, why are you mad about this? No,
you want women to be treated equally.
You mad, bro?
You don't want to give them equal rights.
Yeah.
So ask the question.
Men are different.
Look,
do you believe there are two genders?
It's your view.
Do you think there's two genders?
I do think there are two genders, yes.
Okay. And so you mean there's distinction. There are two distinct genders.
I think we should all have the same rights to...
Well, if they're meaningfully distinct, biologically distinct, and they have different social and biological roles, I think it would follow that we would treat them a little bit differently in the law.
Do you think the Catholic Church's teachings reflect that?
I do. Yeah. There's no female priests. Have you ever seen that?
Do you think that the Catholic Church thinks all women should be deprived of the vote?
Oh, so you are mad?
Yeah, I think so.
You are mad, bro? Hey, bro. You mad, bro?
No, they don't.
I think they do, yeah.
You think the Catholic Church position is women shouldn't be allowed to vote?
I think so, yeah,
no,
but I'm not positive.
No, it's bullshit.
Oh, it should be.
It should be. So if you were Pope, that's what you do. You could be Pope because you're celibate.
That's true. And I'm also from Chicago, like the Pope. But look, I mean, women, it says in the Bible that women have no authority over men, and they can't teach men, and that's why there's no female priests.
There's a lot of things in the Bible.
Catholic...
I mean, do you take every word of the Bible as sacrosanct?
So even there, you could see that Nick is getting frustrated that, like, this isn't, you're not trying to do anything here. He's just like, oh, okay. So you've heard what you want to hear. You wanted to get the clips that you want to get. You can hear it.
In the Bible. I mean, do you take every word of the Bible as sacrosanct? There's a lot of things in the Bible. I mean, do you take every word of the Bible as sacrosanct?
He's just, okay. That is the sign. That is the sound of someone giving up that they could get through to you.
Well, yeah, it's inspired scripture.
That's all of it. All of it is sacrosanct.
A theological debate. Well, it is Catholic doctrine.
Andrew, I'm gonna give you. What's the shortest timeout I can give you? All right, you need. Let's give you 1 minute. You got 1 minute. Just chill out. Just chill out. Take it easy. I promise it's gonna be okay. You're gonna be just fine. Put a one in the chat if you think Andrew will be back after that 1 minute break.
Now,
all of it is
a theological debate. Well, it is Catholic doctrine that women should not lead and teach. I mean, you're not interacting with what I'm saying. Why can't women be priests?
They should be.
Okay, well, you're not Catholic. That's not a Catholic position.
I am a Catholic. Many things I disagree with the Catholic Church.
Okay. Well, that kind of is contrary because the whole basis of being Catholic is accepting.
It's accepting the authority of the pontiff. You can be a member of a religion and disagree with parts of that religion. Perfectly reasonable.
You could be, well, yeah, I mean, you could say
you're
that, but it wouldn't be true.
If you're an extremist, you can't obviously. You never deviate.
That's just not rigorous.
You never
That's
deviate if you're an extremist. But even the Constitution.
Who else? Who said it earlier that if you're not a devout, which one were we watching? I guess that was Piers who said that. He was like, "Well, I'm not a devout Catholic," and someone said, "Oh, so then you're not a Catholic." Oh, we got. I don't know, Matt. Let's see. He will. I'm with the ones.
You can't. Obviously, you never deviate.
That's just not rigorous.
You never deviate if you're an extremist. But even the Constitution's been amended. Was it 27 times? People talk about this sacrosanct document. It's been amended 27 times.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Oh my. This is not rigorous intellectually. No. This is very.
Just a statement of fact.
Theology. Okay, but it's fine. Where were we? We're talking about Trump. And
somehow
we got into
Trump.
For women's rights.
On Trump. Well, I think women should have the same rights as you and I. You don't. That's fine.
Put on the pink hat, bro. Put on the pink hat. We're waiting.
What's the pink hat for?
For the march, for the women's march. Are we going to see you at the women's march, protesting for women's rights and all that?
I think women should have equal rights.
Oh my God! Oh my God! He called it! Oh my God! I'm the biggest creep. Why are you watching me on the internet then? Why are you watching creeps on the internet, loser? Oh my God. Put a one in the chat if you spend time. You've been here for hours, brother. Put a one in the chat if you've ever spent hours watching a weirdo. Not me.
Are we going to see you at the women's march, protesting for women's rights and all that?
I think women should have equal rights to men. Period.
You carry tampons in case your female friends get a period or something? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Spawnkeeper, great example. He openly calls for segregation and follows up, well, not all black people. And then people get mad at me, or not, maybe not mad, but people are surprised when I'm like, I didn't know that he didn't actually mean all Jews. He said the Jews. How the fuck am I supposed to know? It's this type of shit. I don't know who the fuck this person is. I don't know what the fuck they believe. And the fact that a lot of people do follow this person to understand, or rather to not understand, the importance of knowing what that bedrock is so that you have an idea of what the political landscape is out there. He's just retarded.
You carry tampons
Of course he's going to fucking make the atheist look even worse.
in case your female friends get a period or something. Like, it's crazy. The
I'd
white
have no
knighting
problem,
is
I'd have no problem
diabolical.
giving a female friend a tampon, would you? Have you ever, I don't suppose you've ever seen a tampon, have you?
Gross. Absolutely not.
Tampons are gross.
Yeah, they're
Really?
filled with period blood. Yeah, it's kind of gross.
That is kind of gross.
Wow.
Are you into that? You like that? You,
Have you ever
got
seen
a lot
it?
of tampons?
I don't think you've ever seen it, have you?
Piers, what's the fucking, I don't remember the saying. What's the saying when you don't go downtown when you're fucking something? Oh, Piers likes to swim in blood. Yeah. Yeah. And I agree with you. That's why I don't know who the fuck this person is. I want to, because a lot of people follow him, but I don't know who this is. And I'm going to continue to try to find out, even if he's saying mean words that hurts people like Andrew's feelings.
I've seen him. I've seen him before.
You've been that close to a woman? Really?
No, I've seen him. Look, I
You've seen
used
videos?
to live with
I
women,
bet
so
you've
I've seen him around the
I bet
house.
you've seen videos, haven't you?
What? What are we doing here, Piers?
That was fucking weird.
I'm not
You
sure.
really hate that.
I'm not sure.
You're
Nick.
more impressed that I'm a misogynist than you are about anything. It's
Not
very
really.
revealing.
I'm more.
Shout out to the glorious content. It said, I would never give a woman a tampon from my pile. They started putting them in men's room, and it saves money on paper towels. Well, dilly fucking dilly to that. Work smarter, not harder. There you go. We also got Hector Salamanca. Oh, one of the greatest characters. Definitely a boomer. Definitely a boomer. Welcome, guys. Remember, we are past the 2.5 hour mark, guys. This is extra time. So if you want to keep the party raging, you know how to do it.
More impressed that I'm a misogynist than you are about anything. It's
Not
very
really.
revealing.
I'm actually more exercised about your blatant, self-admitted racism than I'm about anything. But the misogyny runs a close second. Let me ask you about Tucker Carlson, because you had a long sit down with Tucker Carlson, in which he was, oddly, I like Tucker, we get on well, I was with him last week in London, but he gave me a harder time than he gives you. And then afterwards, he was more critical. And then you said this about Tucker.
He's a handler. He handles people. That's what he does. He's a fucking liar and a
No, you're just dumb. Everybody else here is following what's going on. It's just you, baby.
handler. He goes around telling people, I don't know anything. I don't know. Oh, I know nothing. I don't even have a phone. I am just a clueless tourist. I just travel to all these countries and, you know, I don't trust him. And I don't care, you know.
Yep.
Maybe that alienates me from people in the conservative movement. I don't care. I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not going to be a party to whatever that is. Whatever that CIA bullshit is, I'm not going to be a part of it. So, you know, now that I've heard enough from Tucker and I've heard enough from other people and I've seen enough, this guy's not who he says he is, not an ally. Stay the fuck away from me. You're weird, dude. You're weird.
See what
was that before or after the interview?
What would have been great is if you said that to him when you were sitting opposite him.
Well, when I was sitting opposite him at the dinner and in the interview, he was nothing but nice. He was very nice to me and very cordial, and he didn't call me an anti-Semite, and he didn't even press me on it at all. And I thought he would, and I almost wanted him to. He was nothing but nice, and we had a great...
Oh, he used the R word! Oh, no! Oh, all the fucking retards! All the fucking retards! Why would you think that you would do anything by telling my own words back? Do you think that I don't know that I said retard? You're retarded. It's not complicated. You know smart. You retarded.
And I thought he would, and I almost wanted him to. He was nothing but nice, and we had a great time. We had a really great dinner, really great interview, and I felt really good about it. And the next week on my show, I said, he really surprised me. He's great. And then every interview he's done since, all he does is call me an anti-Semite. He goes, well, I hate his anti-Semitism, and, you know, I wonder why people like him. And so I just think that's two-faced. So after that experience, it kind of turned me off. I didn't like that, but he's going to do what he's going to do. He's still a nice guy, but I think he's two-faced.
That's literally what we're doing. You can never, ever make these people happy. This is precisely why Brett Cooper should not have condemned Nick Fuentes. Because that is, it will never be enough. It will never be enough. Oh my God, you did this. And then what if I said, oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that word. Lots of people. It's called YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Kick. You're really retarded. Go for it. Please do. Someone needs to fucking keep him.
I didn't like that, but he's going to do what he's going to do. He's still a nice guy, but I think he's two-faced.
What about Candace Owens? You had a sit down with her. She called you out on a few of your more incendiary comments. You've been attacking her quite virulently recently. What's going on there?
Well, it's me and her. We're so complicated. We're on and off. It's very passionate on both sides.
Hey, we just read your fucking your comment from the Raging Tomato song. I was like, hey, he got a bar and a response. John's like, oh, this is your entire legacy. And she's like, good. What? Huh? That don't make no sense. All right, guys, we're going to do 5 more minutes, and then it's time for the members only after party.
We're on and off. It's very passionate on both sides. No, he's
retarded.
I think there's this intense desire to be friends, but a frustration where we disagree with each other. There's a rivalry. But I thought we were going to have a friendly conversation, and then she kind of did the same thing. We're going to go on a show during the war with Iran. We're literally in the middle of a war. And she texted me the day before the United States bombed Fordo. And she said, would you like to come on my show? I said, absolutely. I said, is this going to be about Iran? She goes, I don't do setups. I said, yeah, let's do it. I come on the show, and then she's like got this weird hostile demeanor. She's doing the clip thing. Then she puts it behind a paywall. It was ridiculous. So that really was not nice. And then I think this whole Charlie Kirk thing, I think she's gone insane. I think she's absolutely lost her mind. So I feel sorry for her husband.
What did you feel when Charlie Kirk was assassinated? Where were you when you heard about it?
I was at my house, and a friend of mine who was actually at the event texted me and said, Charlie got shot. I said, who? He said, Charlie Kirk. I said, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And honestly, it was devastating. I didn't like Charlie Kirk at all. And we had an intense rivalry, and he hated me. But honest to God, I was devastated. I was emotionally affected by it.
Yeah, we're just all so fucking dumb. Projection. It's almost like you don't know what it means.
And he hated me. But honest to God, I was devastated. I was emotionally affected by it. I didn't even do a show that night because I was beside myself. So it was rough. I mean, it was hard to watch.
When you say you were...
Hey, we got worldwide debate in the building. Welcome to the party. Welcome. Sizzle Moon songs that only a psychotic sociopath malignant narcissist would make a grisly murder all about themselves. Dilly to that. I am not happy with Candace. I am not happy with Candace. Yeah. And I think that is a very Charlie Kirk was definitely the glue of the right. And I think the existence of him made Nick a little bit more acceptable. And now there's just such a huge gap between like normie conservative stuff and Nick. So guys, you can sign up as a member. Let me drop the member link. But come on. Sign up as a member. It starts at just $2.99 a month. That's 12 at minimum. 12 after parties for the month. And plus you get access to the whole thing. Now, if you join the server before the stream is over, I'm putting the link to the Discord in the chat. And if you're on the landscape stream, it is the pinned link. If you join that, if you join the Discord, hit that link before the stream is over, then you get a day pass to the after party. And we're heading over there right quick. So do your thing.
Beside myself. So it was rough. I mean, it was hard to watch.
When you say you were beside yourself, I mean, you hated him.
I don't hate anybody. I didn't hate him, but I really didn't like him. I intensely disliked him.
He called you vermin, didn't he?
He did. Yeah, he hated me also.
But you were still beside yourself when you heard what happened to him.
I completely agree with you, John. Like, there was, I think Bridget McCrone is a man. I think Harvey Weinstein got steamrolled. Not a good guy, but got steamrolled legally. So I was definitely willing to see her as the kooky one who sometimes really hits a nail on the head. This ain't it. This ain't it. All right. Play.
I was. I thought it was disgusting what was done to him, and it was tragic, and it was horrifying.
Do you fear an attack like that on yourself if you up your own security because of this? Because your profile's got exponentially higher since.
How dare you?
You need another timeout with language like this? Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! How could you say the R slur? How could you say the R slur? This is the worst thing that's ever happened. All right, one more minute. Let's see. Put a 1 in the chat if you think Andrew will be back after a 1 minute timeout.
Own security because of this, because your profile's got exponentially higher since what happened to Charlie Kirk.
I have increased my security, and but something similar like that happened to me. Someone came to my house with a gun about a year ago, almost exactly, trying to kill me, and he was shot and killed in my alleyway. So I've had increased security for a while. It's a bad time out there, and I do believe it was a left-wing person that killed him. I think it was a left-wing person that tried to kill me. So yeah, I take it very seriously.
Elon Musk said on his X platform that you're a Fed, you're a paid-up hire of the government. Is that true?
No.
100. You've never worked for the government in any capacity.
I've never talked to federal law enforcement, and actually I've testified to that fact under oath when I was subpoenaed by the Congress. People leave that part out. But I got.
So remember, we now have both streams, so you can look at the chat on the screen to get both chats. But there is a vertical stream and there is a landscape stream. If you are on the vertical stream and you don't want to be on the vertical stream, click the pinned link and it will bring you to the regular stream. Oh, I would fucking love that. I would fucking love that.
Fact under oath when I was subpoenaed by the Congress. People leave that part out. But I got subpoenaed, I think, in January 2022, I think it was. And I was deposed by the subcommittee, the House Select Subcommittee on January 6th. And they asked me, did you speak with any federal law enforcement? And under oath, I said, no, I've never had contact with them. I've never turned over devices. So no, absolutely not.
I'm an infidel. I'm an infidel. Said, thanks for watching the news so we don't have to. No problem. I don't know if I would call this, this is the news, right? Like the news has like that legacy media connotation, but yeah, no problem. Welcome to the party.
There's been footage that's come out again this week. This is you at the January the 6th riots. Let's take a look.
It appears we are taking the Capitol back.
Who dat? Again!
Keep marching and don't relent, never relent. Break down the barriers and disregard the police. This Capitol belongs to us now. The police are...
And now we got death threats. Bye. You could have been cool. Reported for violence. Have fun.
Evacuating the Capitol.
No, you don't.
Scurry out of the people's house.
So you're heard there shouting down your loud hailer, break down the barriers and disregard the police. The Capitol belongs to us now. What did you mean by that?
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. The Capitol belongs to the people.
Disregard the police. So you don't support law and order?
No, I support law and order, but on that day...
Oh, I thought reporting you would get rid of you. Let's go to his channel first. Let's see what his channel looks like. Oh, a fucking loser! Not a surprise. Oh, sweet fucking bathroom pick, bro. Sweet bathroom pick, bro. What a fucking forward. Bum, 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 bum. Bye. Everybody say bye to Andrew. See, like, we were having fun, right? We can have fun. We can throw shit back and forth. But then you get mad. And you go into, real world shit, and fun's over. Could have been fun. But that's how it is. So, I mean, we're coming up on 3 hours. I am not going to let my stream end like that. So I'm giving you guys 5 free minutes. Keep the party raging, guys. You're going to tell me none of you has 99 fucking cents to feed the dog? Come on!
No, I support law and order, but on that day, the police were brutal. The police killed somebody, Ashley Babbitt. And, they were throwing people off of the rafters. They killed multiple people. So,
when disregarding the police is the first step to anarchy, isn't it?
Well, I think the first step to anarchy is when the government rigs the election, which is what happened. That is when the government loses its legitimacy, and its enforcers, consequently, do also.
Well, the
exactly
government
happened in 2020.
There's no evidence the government rigged the election. You know that. You're a bright guy.
Well, let's talk about it. You want to talk about the election of 2020?
Do it.
I think Trump lost it fair and square. I think he fought the wrong argument about the stolen election. I've said to him, to his face,
I agree.
The argument he should have said is that the deliberate suppression of things like the Hunter Biden laptop scandal from the media, by social media, by big tech, was actually a deliberate attempt to subvert the result of the election. And
hey, a shout out to Angry Amputee with the Cash App. Thank you. Said feed the dog and feed the dog. We will. Thank you. So very, very much. Oh my goodness. Very much appreciated, guys. And you know what that means? The party rages on. Let's do it. And shout out to Spawn Keeper. 8 months, baby. Hell yeah. Ain't gonna count to the goal, but always appreciate my disciples. 8 months, god damn. And in case anybody didn't know, Spawn Keeper, for a while, multiple months, I don't remember how long it was, but it was months, was signed up at the top tier. I think that was like $100 a month or something. And he came through. So shout out to Spawn Keeper. Shout out to Angry Amputee. Very much appreciated. Let's party on.
Was actually a deliberate attempt to subvert the result of the election. And that's a much better argument because it's undeniable. When the New York Post that had that exclusive were basically shadow banned off all social media for the 2 weeks before the election, that was an absolute disgrace. And if I was Donald Trump, I would focus on that as being my main argument that.
Good thing I just ordered security cameras. They're probably outside my door right now. So,
election was slanted against him. When he goes off into saying that there was widespread rigging and voter systems were wrong, we've litigated all this now through various court cases. Various Republican judges have ruled there was no rigging of that kind. In fact, the American election system is accepted by most people around the world as being one of the best in the world, one of the most reliable. So I just think he fought the wrong argument. If he said the deliberate suppression of damaging stories to the Bidens, which could have swung the election, was outrageous and unacceptable, I'm 100% behind him.
Well, but see, like, it's at a certain point, it becomes a little bit cringe when I'm the one, when like the chat's just going and I'm picking out one person that we all disagree with and nobody's fucking saying anything. Not that you guys weren't, I'm just saying in general. Then it gets to a point where it's just like, all right, I'm spending the whole show just fucking talking to when you guys like, oh, you're fucking retard, then, it's a little bit better on me.
But by building this spurious argument that it was all rigged through voting systems and so on, he lost me.
Well, I agree about the voting systems, but when they went into the machines, I think that was ridiculous. However, what has to be accounted for is that in 2016, 35% of the votes were cast by mail.
Yeah, guys, make sure you join that Discord. It is a good time.
2020, it was 70% because of the pandemic. So you doubled the amount of votes that happened by mail. They called it in-person early voting. They called it a variety of different things. And the other thing that they changed is they solicited the mail-in ballots. So they sent ballots to people's houses.
That's fucking epic. Angry said my son-in-law made a camera that has a 9mm attached. He works nights at an airport and don't want my daughter unsafe at home. He can shoot it from work. That's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. Dilly dilly to you, to your daughter, and to the son-in-law. All three. Fucking epic. Fucking epic. Again, guys, nobody's joined. So, like I said, it is free to join the Discord. The whole thing, we have a free channel 24/7. We are in there hanging out, having a good time. It is just the other channels and the members only that is members only. So you should join it anyway. But if you join it before the stream is over, then you can come hanging out with us. That's what it's all about.
Solicited the mail-in ballots. So they sent ballots to people's houses. And once you do that, I mean, you have absentee balloting normally, but it's a process. You got to give your social security number, your ID. They send it to you. There's regulations in place. This is an election where they double the amount of mail-in votes, and they sent ballots to people's houses. And when you do that, you break the chain of custody. So they send the ballot out, and then they tell people return it at a 24
That's a good idea. That's a good idea. Let me do that. Well, I don't need you guys.
Hour ballot drop site that's unsupervised. There's thousands of them. And they're going to hope that all the ballots that find their way into these drop boxes were filled out by the person that the ballot was intended for. And I know that didn't happen. I'll tell you why. My uncle has been dead for 26 years. He got a ballot in 2020. It was mailed to my parents' house. And you know that was happening in nursing homes. You know that was happening in apartment buildings.
But you also know that every independent body that has looked at this has concluded there was no widespread rigging, that it was a free and fair election.
Yeah, the experts said that everything is totally fine. The experts. But yeah, good thinking, Stan. I just got a screenshot of this threat. You know, just in case. You know, there's fucking crazy people out there. But yeah, well, that's not what I want to do. So just in case, we'll put this all out here for anybody to see. Yeah. Cool. Cool, bro. Cool. That'll be a fun court case.
Was no widespread rigging, that it was a free and fair election, and Trump lost. And the bottom line is, you should stop going on about it anyway, because he won back the White House in 2024. By your,
okay, well,
as you have been so keen to tell me, move on, right? No one wants to look back too far.
That's a separate argument. I mean, you can say that he should stop talking about it, but whether it was rigged or not is actually relevant to what happened on January 6th. Because what happened on J6 is people were outraged about it. People were furious that, by the way, there's never been an independent ballot audit in all the states where there was alleged to be rigging. That has not happened. And certainly it did not happen up until January 6th. And people...
But the experts said
this is ridiculous. They're stealing it. You know,
if people, honestly, if either you or Donald Trump or anybody else wants to show me, I said this to him when I interviewed him last, you know, if you show me the actual hardcore, incontrovertible evidence, then great. I've never seen it. Joe Rogan asked him. He didn't produce it with Joe Rogan.
And fair, like, this isn't necessarily something I'm super strong on. I do think that it was, I definitely don't think it was the fairest election ever. You know, I do think, what were they talking about? Sorry.
I've never seen it. Joe Rogan.
Incontrovertible evidence. So this is the cop-out that they all like to use. Remember when we were talking about the deportations? And there was that guy. Hold on, what was his name? Yeah, Kilmar Obrego Garcia. And all the liberals are saying, "Well, he's not MS-13. He's not MS-13. How do you know?" Well, it's not an M, an S, and a 1 and a 3. So how do you know? You don't have any idea. Stupid. Nick is winning a lot of people over. This brings me back to my original question. Is he trying to win people over to raise his profile? Or is he trying to raise his profile to actually change the country? One of them is commendable, and one of them is just like a thing. So if you're, I mean, hey, you know, if you just want to build a cult go for it. But if you actually want to change, then this ain't it. But you're getting closer.
Rogan asked him. He didn't produce it with Joe Rogan. It's just never been produced. But look, I don't want to labour the point on that. So I suppose the more interesting question now, as your influence rises in the conservative movement in America, and there's a lot of splits going on amongst MAGA over a number of issues, and about you, and you know this, is your split with Trump irrevocable? Do you feel now, as we head towards the year of the midterms, that it's time to now look to who his successor will be, and who do you think that person should be?
Well, it's not irrevocable, but I am very pessimistic about this administration. And succession is something that I've been interested in for as long as I've been doing this show. And I think it's very clear that they are grooming J.D. Vance to be that successor. And by they, I mean Elon Musk, Tucker Carlson, Peter Thiel. There seems to be an organization that was put in place roughly around 2022 when Peter Thiel was very active in the midterm elections. He spent, I think, over 30.
Jeez, you got one more opportunity to actually say something funny. You got one opportunity to say something funny.
$1 million, $15 million for Vance, $15 million for Masters. Spent a lot of money in a lot of other congressional races, trying to unseat the Republicans that voted for impeachment in 21, and also building out a media market, building out a patronage network, funding things like Passage Press, Sovereign House, a number of other projects.
The thing is, yeah, he's only 27 and there is time. But as I've said, I feel like he has Arrested Development. He's stuck in his 18-year-old brain. And because he's so just constantly, driving, then he doesn't have time for that reflection to grow up. Because, I mean, if he did grow up, mentally I'm speaking, if he was a little bit more mature with the way that he presented himself, I think he could be I think he could be a serious candidate. Right now, that's not it. That's not it. Well, I mean, you don't start with president, so he can run for office now.
Patronage network, funding things like Passage Press, Sovereign House, a number of other projects to create sort of like a self-contained media ecosystem. And Vance is clearly the selected nominee. That is who the interests want, and they've been pushing for him very strongly. So I think he's the heir apparent right now. There's a forceful push. I've heard good things about him. I've heard bad things about him too. And where I think it needs to go is I think we need to return to the message from 2016, what Trump said in the first election, which is we need to drain the swamp. We need to get the money out of politics, the super PACs, the special interests, put America first in foreign policy and the wars, close the border and deport the illegals, and reindustrialize America, bring back manufacturing, bring back jobs. We're in this Cold War with China. We need America to have productive capacity again. We need America to have wealth. So I think whoever is going to bring us back to that, that's who I'm going to support. And I haven't seen enough from Vance yet.
You called J.D. Vance's wife a Jeet. What does that mean?
It's a slur for Indians.
Why would you use that?
Well, you want the honest answer?
Because you're a racist?
No.
Piers, you had it right there. You had it in your fucking sights. In your fucking sights. He's like, do you want the real answer? And he said, nah, you're racist. Okay, then.
There's actually a different reason. The reason why
Hey, shout out to Real Black Betty. Welcome. Always a pleasure to see you.
said that. If you watch the whole show, did you watch that whole show? By the way?
No, but you've admitted you use that slur. I'm just curious why you would use that about a woman with her
I'll tell
heritage.
you, there's a really important reason why, and this is why context matters. If you look online at the people that are supporting J.D. Vance the most, they are racist. They're racist also, let's say. And they look at someone like myself. I don't support J.D. Vance. And they say, you're brown. You're a third worldist. They are gleefully participating in the cruelty. You could say the performative cruelty of the Trump administration. They say, you're going back. You have 100 days until you're being deported. You're going in a crystal. And then they...
Is he not in favor of mass deportations? I mean, I never heard him specifically say that, but that's surprising. But Ingrid, I think you're right. The question is, will he find the right type of family in this lane? I don't know. There is something to be said about the fact that having some experience with women means that the first cute Christian Catholic girl that walks up to him and says, well, let me give him. I mean, like, especially now he's getting more money. Scary. So maybe, but I don't know, man. I don't know. All right, let's finish this chapter, and then we're heading to the after party.
Tell us to vote for J.D. Vance. And so all I did on the show is I said, you have basically racist chuds that post memes about Indians all day on Twitter, memes about third worldists and Palestinians even. But then they want to turn around and support a guy who has said on Twitter, how dare you say I'm racist? I have non-white kids and I'm in an interracial marriage. And all I said is I just said that's a little ironic. I said that's hypocritical. And Vance is going to have to explain to all of his supporters who have gassed him up as the real mass deportation candidate. He's going to have to explain to them what's going on with that.
So, Santa, is there any possibility that, is there anything that he could say or do that would be enough for you to say, okay, I'll give him a chance. I'm not even asking for you to jump on board. Is there anything that he could say or do that you would then be like, all right, let's see. Seems like you've tuned into, changed your opinions or your behaviors or whatever. Is there anything? Again, Verdes just dropped the Discord link. That is where the after party is. If you join if you click this link before the stream is over in the next 2 minutes, then you will be able to get into the after party.
Is with the contradiction, because
and you don't feel any accountability for the millions of young people that will hear you use that slur and think it's fine to use it.
No, I think that's ridiculous.
Okay. Let's take
just as an Indian man.
Nobody really cares.
Oh, why do they do that?
Nobody really cares.
Nobody really cares. We've got fucking, who is it? Cheeseburger, cheese crust, trying to make all the fucking Indian jokes they can and failing miserably. You know why? Because nobody cares.
Final break. I come back with a little kind of summary of how you think this interview has gone for you. Okay, Nick Fuentes, we've been talking for nearly 2 hours. What is your view of how the interview has gone?
I think it was great. Honestly, I think it was a tough interview. You're a tough interviewer, but I don't think there were surprises. I will not say it was an ambush, because it wasn't. I sort of anticipated that you would make some choices about how you wanted it to go, and I was fine with it. So I thought it was terrific.
As a Catholic, you're probably aware the Jerusalem Post has recently called on the Pope to openly condemn you. Would it matter to you if the Pope did? He's an American Pope, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
It would be very disheartening, yes.
What do you mean you can't hit the link? I just hit the link. The link worked fine. Is it because the phones? Just copy and paste it into your the link into your browser. It's a link. I don't know how else to. You should be able to click links, but yeah, if you just put that in the in your browser. Yeah, put that in your browser. Can you see? Here, click the pinned link. That should bring you over to the other stream, and then the Discord is pinned there. You just click the pinned link, and then click the pinned link again, and then just hit back, and you'll be back to where you were. Direct instructions, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. Hey, shout out to a real Black Betty with the $2. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, a treat for Morty. Said send nudes will, come through the after party. Thank you so very, very much. Of course, adding to the Morty Memorial Fund, it does not look like we are going to hit the goal tonight, but that is okay. I very, very much appreciate you guys. Let me update that.
He's an American Pope, obviously.
It would be very disheartening, yes.
Why?
Because he's our spiritual leader. He's the head of the church. He's the vicar of Christ. So if he condemned me, that would be very disheartening. And it would depend upon what he would say exactly. But yeah, I wouldn't like that. I wouldn't like that at all.
Oh, sorry, Angry. I forgot to add you to the banner, brother.
MG, because you've openly admitted to being a racist on this show?
Oh, this racist. I would be disappointed if he said that, because I think that word racist, it means something different to everybody. And so I think that's just silly. I think that's just semantic.
Have you ever been in love in your life?
No, like romantically, no.
Yeah, never.
No.
You do think that's part of the problem?
You
What's
gotta
the
get
problem?
laid. Thank you again to all of the donations. You guys are amazing. And a big shout out, of course, to the disciples.
Why you are the way you are.
Oh, and what's the way I am? What are you trying to say?
I've given people 2 hours of the way you are. You're unashamed about a lot of it.
I don't think I have a problem. I think I'm cheerful, boisterous. Look, unlike you, I'm willing to be a little provocative. Well, I guess you're willing to be provocative, but I'm willing to be very provocative, and I'm a free thinker. And I don't like to be tone policed. I don't like to be told about.
All right, let's do this. Hopefully this should. Where the fuck did it go? Hold on. Take a little side quest. What is happening? There we go. If you guys are enjoying the show, the party rages on 24/7 over in our Discord. The link is pinned to the top of the chat and is absolutely free to join 24/7. We are in there hanging out, having a great time. And guys, it is absolutely free. However, if you are a member of this channel here on YouTube, you can scroll right below that video and hit that join button. Starts at $2.99. There's a few different tiers, but so for mobile, it should be wherever you click to subscribe. You should be able to click that again, and there should be another join thing. $2.99 will get you in. It gets you members only live streams here on YouTube, all that other good stuff. But it opens up the full Discord server. So we've got the free chat that is open to anyone. Anybody can join and talk. But as you can see, that is just one of our channels. Right. So that right there is just one of the channels. So that's free, regardless of when you join, that is always open to everyone. There's a bunch of different channels here, including our disciple chat for members only, our word of the day watch party, where we're talking about all this stuff. And of course, we have the voice channel here, where we are hanging out at this moment. Shout out to everybody in the Discord server. Say hello and tell them to come and join the after party.
Hello, come and join.
There you go, guys. Simple as that. See you there. If you guys are enjoying... Okay, I guess that's on repeat. But there you go. There you go. It's free. It's easy. And it starts at just $2.99 a month, guys. That is so fucking cheap. All right, why is this not going away? Go away. Where's my banner? Go away. Whatever. All right. That is the question of the century, right?
Very provocative, and I'm a free thinker, and I don't like to be tone policed. I don't like to be told about, people are going to tone police and play moral cop about you can't make this joke or you can't make this statement. And I think that's just about being intellectually open. I'm a believer in openness. And I like ideas.
I completely agree. I think you should.
Yeah. Is this a second one? Is this a second one? Again! Thank you so very, very much, Black Betty. Come on, there we go. Again, thank you. So very, very much. There's that Tim Pool. Why I was like, why are we talking? Well, everybody's talking about Tim Pool, but thank you so very, very much. So it goes through YouTube, and then they take their cut, and then it goes to my bank account.
Be perfectly free.
I'm a believer in statement, and I think that's just about being intellectually open. I'm a believer in openness, and I like ideas.
I completely agree.
We are still live. You will know when we are no longer live.
You should be perfectly free to express yourself exactly how you see fit. My problem is how you see fit with some of the things that you say. And we've been through a lot of them, and I think people who don't know you very well will have been shocked in parts and surprised in other parts. But in totality, they can see you for what you are. I think we've got a lot nearer to what the real Nick Fuentes is in the last 2 hours than we probably have seen from your other recent interviews. Would you agree?
No, I mean, the clip thing, we've done the clip thing. We've all seen the clip show. Everyone's seen the clips. You think you're the first one to do the ADL rap sheet. So here you said this, and then here you said that. I've been playing that game for 10 years. So this is honestly more of the same, to tell you the truth.
Yep.
Nick Fuentes, I appreciate you coming on.
All right, guys. My goodness. If you would prefer to go through Venmo or CashApp, just at TheIndianJesus or $TheIndianJesus, and that will get right to me. Thank you so very, very much. But when it comes to the super chats, look at all of this and that. And we had the CashApp We had Spawn for 8 months. And Real Black Betty coming in. Thank you so very, very much. Guys, I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you being here. I know that you could be out in the world doing anything and everything and whatever you want. You could do whatever you want, and yet you have spent your time hanging out with me and the Overlord. And guys, that really does mean a lot to me. It means a lot. It's not just about money. Yes, obviously we need money. We need to grow. We need all of that stuff. But the fact that you guys always come through, it means the world to me. So thank you so very, very much, guys. I really, really, really do appreciate you. And we're about to end the stream. So if anybody wants to join for the after party, it is time. So thank you so very, very much. Once again, guys, this is Morty, and I have been your host, aka the Indian Jesus, here to resurrect the second coming of Common Sense. Until next time, guys, we are out of here.
Shadows gather where the truth once stood. A kingdom of confusion carved out of falsehood. But he walks through the ruins like a prophet reborn. A voice wanted fire, a mind drawn is gone. The chaos watches with an all-seeing glare. Guardian of reason in a world unaware. When the overlord stalls at the edge of the frame, the faithful rise up, they already know his name. I'm here to resurrect.